And we're back with a Wall Tactics community stream. Welcome to the rise of the hobby tide. So today we're going to be going over some pictures from the chat from Discord and Facebook, pretty much our social groups, and we'll be going over a couple interesting lists that we didn't show you earlier in the week because I thought they were actually some of them were fun and thematic and unique that we're still answering some questions people had about all the interesting detachments that we have. So, I pulled the list first, but first, I want to start with some pictures and get involved in the chat. We don't have a set time for these, but we just go as long as there's interaction and such. So, how are you guys doing? We're here back with some whoa. See you guys, all you guys in the chat. Wicked Joe, Jay, the clip, David, whatever then.
Oh, Zekshuk. Speaking of Orkshop, I miss the mech workshop. I adored the extra cover and fixins.
That's crazy because you pretty much never hear that. You know, like
Yeah, I think you're the only one.
you're like the only one that we could ever say that for, but I appreciate you for that. That's why I called it out. And then we got Wicked Joe working on his area for his own mech shop, speaking of. And then we got Cal, and I'm pretty sure this is Cal's model that's on screen here. So we have the Morkanaut. He has the really sick looking Morkanaut, the very dark scheme. I really like it. He took really good pictures. I always appreciate when people do good presentation pictures because it does make a difference. And then Admiral No Beard was like with the swole chicken said, "Is it time?" We remember that swole chicken from a long time ago. A shout out to the OG and the clip. As we have this on stream, I want to actually move along with the theme since we just showed the Morkanaut. Oops, I want to show. Oh, wrong list. Sorry, dude. We're using a different website. Tarzan. So Tarzan had. So let me zoom in so you guys can actually see what I'm trying to look at. Is it too close?
No, that's good.
No. Okay. So we're gonna go look at Tarzan for the Storm of Silence. So this is where also Noah Bedum went 5-0 and won this event, but Tarzan came in about what is this, ninth place, eighth place, and
No, lower.
oh sorry, where is he? He's
Yeah,
lower than
he's
that.
like
Oh yeah,
almost
he's low.
20th. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so he was like 20th, but he went 4-1, so he wouldn't have been under the radar. But when we take an actual look at his list at a GT level events where he didn't submarine because he won his first game and his second game, he actually lost to Orks. It's a dread mob, and he calls it big feet and little fingers. Now let's take a look at this interesting dread mob list that kind of went under the radar for most people at events because so many went undefeated. This is one that kind of stuck out that I intentionally looked for when I noticed him, and someone I noticed did good with the Dread Mob, and I found you. So I found you, Tarzan, again. So we have the Big Mac with shock attack guns with the Get Finder goggles. The Ludas has been proven over and over again to be legitimate. We know mathematically they were legitimate. People were still saying in practicality, you're going to use this really soft target, one time use kind of unit to run out and blow someone up on an objective. And it seems like yeah, that's exactly what you do, and it works. And you could just do it. So he's doing it. Then we have the mech 2 units of Gretchen, followed by 6 units of 6-man units of Killer Can. He did it, boys. He brought the thick max unit of Killer Cans. But not only that, alongside the Ludas, but he went full Dread Mob and said, "What if I bring the Stomper?" So he brought the Stomper and 2 Storm Boys. So you guys understand this is an actual legitimate event as there was a golden demon ticket for this event. As
open qualifier.
an open qualifier, meaning they had to have actually some standards for how they were playing in the mission and such. So that means this was, and Tarzan has that he made an appearance before on the channel because he's done undefeated or 4-1 before, so he's known to be a legitimate player. Meaning this was a real choice. He was not some guy just trolling. He really felt like he could do something with this, and he pretty much did by going 4-1 with a crazy dread mob list. So everybody questions, is the Stampa real? It's, are you real? Are you playing, and are you avoiding the matchups that will just one shot you? So we're actually going to take a look at Tarzan. He had a little in win path. Of course, as you can see, none of this is something like Iron Storm, right? But in practicality, when you go to events, doesn't mean you're always going to face your hard matchup, your worst matchup. So guess what isn't a hard matchup for a list like this? Demons. So I've actually played against demons, chaos demons with a Stampa, and I'll just tell you right now, the Stampa annihilates anything that isn't within Bellicor range. It could be a great unclean one with the 4 feel no pain. They're getting smoked.
Yeah.
So we have Bellicor. What's his abilities, David? Because I think you're actually familiar with Bellicor.
Yeah, so the big thing that he's brought on the list for is for his shadow aura of 6 inches that no models in that aura can be targeted outside of 18. So that'd be kind of big for the Dread Mob, considering they'd have to get a little closer or wait till they start getting some targets that are outside of that.
But that's when the killer cans come into play, and they can just run up and start actually punching stuff. They can get plus additional damage and strength, and then the wall, so they can actually close up the distance and beat up anything that isn't just only sticking around him, and then shoot everything else. Because the great unclean one, I mean, the other guy might not understand that mathematically you could one shot this if you give yourself big shells for bigger gets, put all of your weapons into him because they do have a 4-up armor, meaning even your big shooters getting +1 to wound and then so some of those have twin length in them. So even those big shooters would be 2 damage, wounding on 5s, twin length, and you'll have sustain. So you can even chip them down if you just shoot all of your guns into something like a great unclean one, and you can kill them. But with just the 3 main primary guns, you could kill the great unclean one with the endless gift, and that's something that most Chaos Demon players will never see coming because almost nothing does that in the game to him.
Yeah, I think that's a lesson that this player learned in this game. Normally, you'd have confidence having the 4-up to put the great and clean one away from Bellicor, so Bellicor can protect the rest of your list. And yeah, like Eddie said, it's not going to work.
It's literally we've done math on it several times. It's literally like 8 out of 10 times at least he kills it if he uses just the 3 guns. Then we have Skullmaster, Damascus Slinash.
The Damascus Slinash is just a little tech piece. She has a 6-inch aura of -1 to wound in melee.
Oh, okay. That actually matters if you're going against 6 demons. 3 Nurgling, so they can actually take a -1 to hit. Well, imagine your Killicans hitting on 5s in melee. You're just going to have to hope that sustain does something for you. A bunch of pink horrors, so that's actually pretty good OC, isn't it? And pretty annoying unit to kill and shift if they keep pooping into little other units.
Yep.
Plague Bearer is actually way more durable than you expect for 2 wounds of pop. They have sticky too? Okay. So Blood Crushers, Flamers, Screamers. So it's maybe not the most meta because it is a lot of small battle line demon stuff. So it's not known as the most meta. But it does have the tools to actually win games. So he looks like he had a game plan going forward here.
Yeah, and this list did relatively well going 3 and 2. So
yeah, and we know what one of the list losses was, which is someone who was like, I just one shot the Great Unclean one. Like, oh no. So yeah, he lost the Ors and he lost a Death Guard, which is actually respectable. So this Chaos Demon list beat Necrons, World Eaters, and Chaos Demons as well. So there was something behind this. It's not like this guy just lost all his games in response to the Stampa. So Stampa actually did work here, but Chaos Demons are one of those matchups that you would want to see when you're running that list. But what about the Dark Angels matchup? And of course, I'm looking at you guys. Best of luck. We got Jank, the tank saying, I got an RTT out tomorrow. I haven't figured out what list yet, but I'm going War Horde. Oh, you're going War Horde. Okay, you should talk more about that because that's actually pretty fun. We've shown some how War Horde examples are going. I say Gas is an auto take in a War Horde, but that's me. I don't know if you guys can feel free to disagree, but I'm pretty sure Gas is an auto take for me in a War Horde specifically. So we have the Dark Angels. Let's see. What do you know about this, David? Oh, it's Gladius. Okay.
Just similar to War Horde. It's just your all-around, well-balanced detachment to take. And yeah, you got an Apothecary Biologist with the Fire Discipline. So that's lethal hits and sustain for 1 round, I believe. Yeah. Then you got Azrael. We'll see who he goes with. The Lieutenant, Ravenwing Command Squad. So 2 of them. The Aggressor Squad, that's where the Biologist is going to go for the lethals and just the sustains.
Okay.
Deathwing Knights.
Eradicators. This could actually mess up a Stamp a little bit, but at the same time, I mean, you can miss, but this actually does mess you up. You have to run out and tag this or try to kill it with the killer cans before it really pops into range of the Stampa.
Right.
No, this is where I think he's going, actually. I think he's going here.
The
Apothecary. Yeah, I think he can. Yeah. Yes. I've gotten shot off the table from this combo before.
Okay. Well, there's also Lieutenant on the list for another source of lethals.
True. So they could go either or, I guess, right? And then Scepter Squad with Plasma.
And Infiltrators. Ravenwing Black Knights.
Ooh, 2 of them.
2 of them. So these combo with the Command Squad, just giving them +1 OC, Apothecary ability, so they can bring back a model, and then they get +1 advance and charge.
Mm.
And then Black Knight. Oh, this is actually key. Black Knights on the charge, they gain anti-monster/vehicle 4 up.
Oh, so they were anti all the vehicles and monsters.
Yes.
That's pretty devastating. That could work out as a pretty good combo. So, not a horrible list by any means. Not maybe the most meta, but it's still pretty successful. And then a Cladius Assassin. A lot of Terminators, good amount of shooting firepower. Not the most immediate anti-tank. I'm gonna one-shot a Stompa, but you could definitely devastate a Stompa between this Hellblazer squad and the Eradicators and the Deathwing Knights. But what comes into play is the Killer Cans are also all a part of that too, and doing nasty damage enough to really hurt these Terminators in all of the activations. Don't they take minus reduced damage by one of these units? I
Oh
believe
yes,
does.
they do. I think that's just the Deathwing Knights have that.
Okay. Right here. Boom. Deathwing Knight. Okay. I mean, still though, us having all damage 4, having the profiles to really put them away, being able to give ourselves additional strength so we can get that threshold to wound them on 2s with the killer cans, and then the Stompa can get in combat and do a sweep attack, and we know that's putting them away too.
Oh, for sure. Then another thing, Azrael can give the Hellblaster sustain 1.
Okay, so this list was actually going pretty hard. I think this not bad.
It went 4-1, so they performed really well.
Oh, yeah, you're right. This is the only at the same big event. The only list player that lost to was that one Stompa Orc list. And like I said, Tarzan's actually an exceptional player, so he was actually playing this for real. That's why I felt like I had to show it off. Then he lost to Orks, which was a green tide list with Gazgul, so that's fantastic. I actually personally love to see that. So who was this person? Keaton Marshman. He ran.
He went 4-1 too.
Yeah, he went 4-1 too. Awesome. He ran, David.
Boss Snickra, and then we got Gazgul, 2 Bane boys, 2 War Bosses, and 2 Weird boys.
Love it.
And then we got 20 mixed boys, 20 shooter boys.
What were you doing with the shooter boys? He just needed the bodies, dude. He's like, I don't even care.
Maybe that's his way of trying to do secondaries.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna do that now just for no reason, dude. Like, just if someone brings chaff, you're like, aha, I can actually shoot you. What the heck?
Yeah, that's unique. That's the first time I've seen that.
Yeah, and then how many more units of these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 10-man unit. Gretchen, max unit of Mega Knobs, 2 Storm Boys. So this is a legit green tide list, and that's the one that took out the Dread Mob list. Other than that, Tarzan actually won his other games. He beat another Orc player and Adeptus Custodian. What was the other Orc list?
Big Hunt.
Man, he beat the Big Hunt. I thought Big Hunt was designed to kill this kind of stuff. Dang. I'm surprised. I would actually like to know what happened here. You know, Beast Boss doesn't have Dead Killy though, right? Glory Hog, Shirley Squiggle, Boss Snick Rock. He had gas on his Big Hunt. Beast Snaggle Boys, a wagon, Grots, Kill Rigs, 2 Mega Knobs only, a bunch of Squig Hog Boys. Storm Boys. I think you just don't have enough stuff just because you have to go out there and run into the killer cans and then everything else is getting killed. The killer cans can actually shoot your squigs away in a way that you're not really reliable on. This guy did go 3-2, so he wasn't just dogging it, you know. And then the Adeptus Custodian list. I mean, Adeptus Custodians are in a different place now. Talons of the Emperor. Oh, so he was trying to
I don't know.
Say it.
He was just trying to have fun.
Oh no, dude! No, dude. A lot of Terminators have excellent data sheets, and he had 2 units of Wardens, a Land Raider. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where he's hoping the Scissors pull out their value somehow. They're not terrible. Just
it's just the attachment ability is not that good.
Yeah,
you get a Fional Pain if you're within 6 inches of a sister, and then vice versa, you give them +1 to hit. Are you expecting your sisters to do damage?
Yeah, I know. Well, shout out to Tarzan because that was fantastic, dude, with his Dread Mob list 4-1. And then we have a 5 Wall Tactic gifted memberships. Whoa, from Zach Shuck. Let's go, lad. I appreciate you. Very generous, very supportive, like always, dude. Love you very much. Thanks. Appreciate the love. And I appreciate seeing Dread Mob do so good. And then we have Moose Moose and Master also said, "Did you take a look at the Icebreaker GT? Do we have Icebreaker on here?
Not yet. Are we
Let me
covering?
see. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. What is it? This list right here with Brent Gibson.
Yeah, we're covering Brent.
Oh, you are who you did pick that one, right?
Yeah.
And okay, cool,
That's
cool.
a green tide list.
Yes. So should we talk about the green tide list now?
Um,
Well, either way, Tarzan was fantastic. I appreciate you, Tarzan, and thank you, Zach Shuck. Anybody that there, collect your membership. That way, you can become a nice grotty, and then eventually you can become a boy, a proper lad, a dread mob, and then a war boss. Oh, Moose Master seems to collected one of those memberships, so shout out to them because he went from gray to a green, mean fighting machine. Let's go. And let's see, did he say that's? He said, "Oh, that's me." All right. Oh, he said it's him. All right. Well,
Right.
since you're already right here, let's look at it.
All right, let's go.
Let's look at it, dude. Because we actually did have it on there. So Brent Gibson at the Icebreaker Warhammer 40K GT. He had 4-1, and he didn't lose till the last round. So that means he was just fighting the whole time. I like to see that. Cutting your way through the actual tabletops. Not, it's okay if something happens, you lose the first game, but that's a bit different of an experience than winning all your games up to the last one.
Right. I think Death Guard won it. This one tournament.
Yeah, Death Guard hurts. So I can actually know what this feels like running the Green Tide. So let's take a look at his list. He has Gazgul Thraka, 3 Pain Boys, 3 War Bosses, 2 Weird Boys. Ooh, that looks very similar to what I read. 1 max unit. Well, sorry, 1 10-man unit, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of boys. Okay.
It seems like a lot of people are opting to make that 6-unit 10-man now, right?
10, or they even drop to
it.
like a 90 to 90 bundle boys instead. Grots, 2 Mega Knobs, 3 Storm Boys. Okay, so very similar to actually how I ran my list too, but I did pay for the difference in the small man unit of Mega Knobs. I like to go for the full unit, but interesting that you found value in just running it just for gas lethal, then I'm assuming. 3 Storm Boy units. And then just enough boys. The 10-man unit of boys seem to be a good tech piece. I wonder, does he stick maybe matchup dependent? This weird boy goes with the 10-man unit so you can just run away, or does he stick with the big unit? Other than that, I like the same combo. I like all my pain boys, and I like max war bosses. Whenever I see green tide lists, I don't have max of both. I'm kind of always like, how do I feel about that? I'm fine when I use one weird boy because I always put bloodthirsty belligerents on him. I feel like he's awesome. But I love Gaz actually in a green tide, even though people will contest that. And I'll talk about that as we look at the matchups too. He said Death Guard got second, sadly. Didn't win, but went 5-0. Okay, yeah, he did go 5-0, the Death Guard player. And Death Guard Herks into Orks. They have all the buffs into that, but we'll talk about your wins before that, and then we'll together go through how that Death Guard matchup probably would have gone. So we have just happened to be here with his Blood Angels, but he is playing Sons of Sanguinius, and Sons of Sanguinius have a significant like stat check kind of profile they get when they start getting the benefits from being Sons of Sanguinius on the charge. So their chain swords end up looting Orcs on like 3s, and then
they go up to strength 6.
Yeah, so that ends up being pretty awesome and working for them. Overall, they don't have terrible strats either. It's just a sleeper good minor detachment you'll run into, and then all of a sudden you're like, dang, these guys are actually clapping us in a way Space Marines usually don't with like chain swords and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
So we have a captain with Icon of the Angel, Le Martis, 1 unit of Blade Guard, sorry. Death Company Dreadnought, Death Company Marines. These ones with the jetpacks? Yeah, right.
No,
these don't. Oh yeah, it says jetpacks, jump packs right there. No, so these guys are not jump packed up. I've heard people using that. I don't know what the difference is. Another unit of Death Jump Pack Marines. This is just the points. And then a 5-man unit of Jetpack Marines, Death Company. So he went full Death Company up on this one. Infiltrator, Storm Raven gunship, and then triple Vindicators. Okay, so he had the heat. But it's in a way that I'm not sure is good enough for Green Tide necessarily, as you do have the profiles to beat up all these Marines with rerolls, with just your power claws. But they do have a good like benefits to their stats that you have to respect them. I'm not. How did he use the Storm Raven gunship? He probably just brought in one of the Dreadnought on its back. I mean, was he smart in trying to use it to stop you from getting outside the base? That's what I like to hear too, because if they understand how to use their plane to try to get out of the way, If it was in hover mode, that means it could get tagged, so then he might not have put it in the way. You know, there's ways that people might play this list not understanding how to go against the Green Tide. Yeah, but I love to see the
that
Green
dreadnought
Tide.
could be a little tricky if you don't outright kill it because it gets to fight or shoot after every enemy activation.
Oh, that's just funny.
So unique.
He just keeps kind of just fighting and standing in place.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, just punch him, just crump him out real bad. Yeah, he said really bad into Tide. Once his few Marines died, it doesn't do much. The Dreadnought dude had dudes in it, and he had it in hover in the middle, so he was kept trying to do something with it in the way. But yeah, like I said, you have profiles that the Marines just go down, and then there's not much left after that. So yeah, he went to Blood Angels, even though they could definitely take their chunk of meat. They'll just right after that be done. So then he went into Depths Custodes, which used to be our bullies. Oh, he said, I got 40 dudes. He's flexing on us, dude. He's flexing on us. He ended up only playing 3 games. He probably couldn't make it the second day. So, David, if you want to look.
The shield host, 2 blade champions, and then the rest is 2, 3 units of 5 custodian guards. No, more plus 1 more 5-man, and then 2 4-man.
Yeah, he pulled more
And
custodian
then
guards.
a 5-man warden.
Yeah.
2 5-man wardens.
Yeah,
Of
dude.
course, he's had 40 guys.
You got 40 guys, so he just brought a bunch of infantry. I actually wouldn't love to necessarily see this with the Green Tide. I mean, you're like, these are a bunch of bodies. You do have enough volume to punch them at least and kill them out, but they actually have good volume too. This could be an actually interesting, somewhat interesting fight. You know, you're faster, so you should be able to get on the objectives first. But they're not gonna like just necessarily die. It's just that you can actually they have punches, volume of punches. Like all of them are gonna wound you on 3s, all of them be hitting on 2s. So yeah, what else he said here? He said he brought a lot of dudes. He said my Pain Boy syringes took so many guards with mortals.
Oh,
That's
nice.
funny. And he also said it was sites of power. Okay, so that helped him a bunch. That's funny because he does have the blade champion. He would, if he could, epic heroic challenge the Pain Boy and kill him. But sometimes people just don't do that.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's like you're just like, oh shoot, I hope you don't target my Pain Boy. He has 3 wounds. Right? But they just people just never think about that. They're just so used to using everything else that they want to use. So he got to stand in there and kind of duke it out. That's hilarious. He stood in there in front of him, was just jabbing him with the Pain Boy. So 40 dudes, though, I mean, that's not an interesting, not a easy matchup. You're really like, dang, I really have to tank this damage. Everything's 2 damage too, from their bolters to their melee, meaning that your Pain Boys becomes much less reliable to actually tanking you. You really want to see a bunch of 1 damage attacks, like the Blood Angel list. So really respectable win here. He said he fought into Gaz. Okay, he said he admitted it was silly too. Exactly. They try to go for Gaz and they don't realize Gaz is just a bodyguard for Makari. Right. Especially in a matchup like this where you don't even have the Mega Knobs to protect Gaz. Gaz is taking that damage right off the rip if he is. So, and he's getting the feel no pain if you don't kill the Mega Knobs first. So it seems like the Custo player might have slightly misplayed, but this is a respectable win nonetheless because this has the volume of damage to and punches accurately, wounding you on 3s, which is respectable, to cut through you and then outbase you on the objectives. So you could die, but there's a chance they run out of momentum too. You get the initiative at least since they're just kind of moving around as Dread Host. Then there has Chaos Knights. Oh, Baby Knight Gas spam. Is that what's happening here? Lancer Renegade. So he has he's using 1 big Lancer Knight and then handful of Brigands, equal amount of a little probably additional carnivores, so 5 carnivores, a Beast of Nurgle, which are actually really annoying if you don't just one shot them for healing purposes, and then 2 Nurglings to try to give you that -2 to hit, -1 to hit. That's up to him to actually use that correctly. Most players won't do that with them though. They forget that matters into Orks and they just tend to put them in the way early and or use them for scoring later in the game. So I'm not sure what this knight necessarily does.
So that's one of the Forge World Knights. I think he's like T12, 25 wounds. And what he does is he can tank shock for 0 CP with his strength 20.
I mean, yeah, that would be sick, but he's capped out how many he can do, right?
Yeah,
so the boys, and you can feel no pain that.
And then he gives the War Dogs within 6 inches assault.
Oh, I mean, that's dope. He said that the guy didn't even use his Nurglings forward to screen or anything. He just left them in his backfield. So yeah, see, that's what I'm saying is us as Orc players, we look at that and we're like, shoot, that's gonna be behind the building with a 6-inch aura near the objective. It's gonna come out and stop us from getting play minus one to hit, so we can't clap back. And the enemy's like, oh, I'm using the back to screen. You're like, oh, thanks. That's one of those things that we can't account for if we don't really get to talk to the person that's going said that.
He's
Because
probably worried about the weird.
they're just not thinking about that, and they are worried about the weird boys. He tank shock, he kills anything he touches, basically. But he can't kill it fast enough, clearly, boy, because you box him out and you kill him. That's actually a good win because it's not an easy win necessarily, as the Knights have a weird volume and have a bunch of OC. So really, if they put enough of them and just stop an objective, you could. But it's weird how a bucket load of orc dice just somehow still kills this stuff that's durable. That ends up being a 2. He said it was scorched earth and he was more worried about the weird boys and me burning his home objective. It's a valid concern, as I was found a lot of success getting my weird boy with bloodthirsty belligerents into an enemy home field in many games that I played it with. It's just they don't expect such reliable charges even at a 9-inch, so they have to fully screen you like that. So I like that he had to worry about that. And yeah, he says it's come down to the war bosses. Did he pay for the war boss to be extra hungry? No, he didn't. But still, war bosses. Yeah, war bosses help that. They do. It's really cool, especially because you can reroll wounds with one of those units. So you're dragging them down slowly one by one, shipping them away with your other units. Orcs really just worry about stuff that can't get to a 3-up armor, like that can't get to a 3 taking 3-up armor saves. When they have to take a bunch of 2-up armor saves, then we hate that stuff. So great job killing knights. Tyranids. So Tyranids do have some blasts. So what is this? Oh, and it's invasion fleet. So let's see what he brought for the weapons. He brought a Death Leaper, 2 Brood Lords, and a Hive Tyrant. Barb gone. Oh, that could be annoying to slow all your orc boys. They still have that ability, I'm pretty sure. Nobody uses those, but they still have that ability. Biowars, then he brought a bunch of Gene Stealers to try to alpha strike your orcs. Just run up the field immediately and slam into you with like dev wounds and reroll wounds, I believe. I think that's what they do because the Brood Commander, or what's he called, Brood Lord.
Brood Lord.
Yeah. So yes, I think they could just run out and punch you very early game. Lictor, Neural Lictor, Tyrant Guard. Interesting that makes you pay for the Tyrant Guards. 3 Whipper Swarm units, 3 Maliceptors for all that -1 to hit right there, boy. And the thickness is in the Exocrine. What I will say is, even though I don't see too much on this list dying too quickly, it's not necessarily enough volume to really kill you, other than these Gene Stealers, which you could try to box and screen out or get the initiative on them. The Barb Gaunts is what's kind of fun to me that I see that there was. So yeah, he said anyways, when he got the shot with the Barb Gaunts, he activated the strat so you can move closer. And then if you did get a shot, you could heal some boys that little bit closer too, so you're always moving a little faster than they really want. Still not something you like to see. They still put a bunch of dice into you, but yet all the feel no pain boys, so that would really help a lot with that. We were just like, just feel no pain these, take my saves and feel no pain them. It's just the Gene Stealers being able to run in and hit you could put in nasty dev wounds, but like I said, you have the feel no pain, so it can help put that out too. So you do have the tools to survive this. They could run up and do nasty damage. The difference is that you, with Gaz's ability, you're gonna sweep all that stuff away in response to. Gaz can run up and put a dent in the Maliceptors. Now lets the people do stuff into you. Also, though, it comes down to this guy using his Feel No Pain aura too, because he does have Invasion Fleet. So he wants to get his strat for his Feel No Pain. So remember, these monsters all have access to Feel No Pains, and these units twice, essentially. Wait, does he have the Hive Lord Tyrant? No, he doesn't. He have a Hive Tyrant. I don't think he gives free strats. Does he? Yeah, check that for me. I think that's the Brood Lord that the Swarm Lord that does that. But hypothetically, he can use a strat for 1 CP to give a Feel No Pain to these units. So yeah, but Gaz helps here a lot where he can run up. Yes, he loves to kill Maliceptors.
One friendly unit within 12 inches.
Oh, so he can give a unit a 5-up Feel No Pain, and then he can use a strat for a 5-up Feel No Pain on that. So that's going hard right there. And then the Gene Steals with their volume. So luckily you could tank it with how many boys you have. So I appreciate that. And you make him worry about his backfield too, since you can go get him. So in some matchups, he would run up on you, but leaving Barb Gaunts, your boys just run up and charge them from far away. Neural Lictor's just hoping you fail Battle Shock, really. And then that's a lot of points in his Swarm Lord with the Tyrant Guard and the Swarm Lord invested there. That means he has to go play the game too. Right. Then he starts getting chopped up. I like that. Overall, this is like a fun invasion list, kind of strong with some good tools, but it doesn't have the tools for the Green Tide. and it didn't have faster Militarum. But he was winning before that, so he was going in. And then now, last but certainly not least,
Tough one.
Death Guard, which I'm familiar with how this goes, huh? He goes Biologic Putrefier, Blight Spawn, Malignant Plaguecaster, Malignant Plaguecaster, Typhus, one max unit of Plague Marines, two 5-man units of Plague Marines, two Rhinos, a Predator, two Predator Destruct, three Predator Destructors with the auto cannons. They're like the anti-infantry version for them with like elite infantry. They don't have as much volume as you would expect though from auto cannons. It just you pursue more shots. It's only like 4 to 6 shots. Then he comes with the Death Shroud Terminator brick, a floated bloat drone, 3 Nurglings, 2 Brigands. Interesting. What he does have is just a good amount of firepower here for the most part. And these Malignant Plaguecasters. Can you pull up what these guys do again? Because I just want to make sure. Of course, he has the 10-man unit for the combo for I get to fight first. And the critical 5+s. I've gone into 30 of these, you guys. They're pretty nasty into a green tide. They will just delete a 20-man unit of dudes, and sometimes even the one with the feel no pain. If they don't have a feel no pain with them, though, they are getting picked up by the 10-man units of dudes with all the buffs. Then he has both the Plaguecasters, which do what?
So the Plaguecasters, if they wound you against infantry unit, you subtract 2 from the move characteristic, advance, and charge rolls.
Okay, so they're slowing you down. So then he can try to reliably shoot you more. Typhus, of course, is good for his mortals. He can run around by himself and deep strike drop in. The 2 5-man units, even without the character support, are at least all right because they got their special weapons. Let's see. All the Predator Destructors is just volume here. And then the Terminators, all the Nurglings. The thing about this guy is that how did he use these Nurglings? I want to know. Did he use them correctly to make sure you were -2 to hit? Because when you're -2 to hit, -1 ballistic skill, weapon skill from the Contagion era, and then the Nurglings kind of stand behind the wall of Marines or whatever they're using, and they make that aura really stand out, really hurt, so they can't punch through you. We have a 6-month membership flex for the revolution for fighting Fedor. I'm glad you're still alive and your wife didn't destroy you from last stream when you kept donating. So I appreciate you, buddy. Shout out for the 6-month membership. I love to see that. It's been a while. The channel's been around like how long?
We're approaching a year now.
But we're not. So what are we at right now?
I mean, next month it'll be 4 weeks from a year.
Okay. I guess
time flies.
Really? Oh, okay. Oops, I lied. Never mind. So here we are, dude. Thanks for the shout out. And then we also have another one from Zach Shuck for the 4-month memberships. Yeah, Zach, let's go get whoa. And he said yes, the Nurglings were in fact making him -2 to hit. Yes. So he's slowing you up. He said he put Typhus and the Terminators up in the mid board. Obviously had the Plague Marines in response. He slowed everything down and shot it up, charged it up. You could take a battle shock test here and there, start failing. You're not really punching them out and doing anything. I will say in my matchup when I had with this, what really helped was when I had a big brick of gas and the Mega Knobs, because on that one go turn for the wall, it was on 5+ that it was going off that I was still landing my hits and they were lethal. So all the wounds were going through. I was like, all right, all these hits that went through, lethal, just take that damage. And then I was able to cripple units like that, even with Gaz's sweep attack. I was just like, here's a volume of -2 AP, take that damage, die. So Gaz helped when he was a brick in this matchup when I played into it, but it's not easy by any means, just because you are hitting on like all your power claws, if you don't have a war boss with them, are hitting on 6s, so people must understand. Because it goes from 5s, from 4s natively on your data sheet. It changes to 5s when you're within inches of the Death Guard unit in their contagion range, and then their Nurgling gives you an actual -1 to hit. So guys, think about that. Plus, remember, all of the Death Guard infantry are T5 and your boys are strength 4. Right? And then the player will also understand that, some of my vehicles, I can put them on objectives and just box you out from getting enough boys on there, and I'm still killing you. So it does work that, yeah, you heal and stuff, but they're taking huge chunks of flesh out of you as Death Guard, and they're fighting you first. They're putting mortals on you. It becomes like you're like, all right, guys. And these guys all have 2 OC as well, all these Plague Marines. So it does have the tools, but Death Guard is just a really hard matchup for that. But other than that, shout out to you, Brent Gibson. Great job using the Orks at the Icebreaker GT. It was great to see another green Tylus and with gas, because some people be hating on gas. I'm in love with my gas group. So then, yeah, now with gas going on there. You like that? And we have
Another member.
here. What was this? Colin. We're gonna cover Colin,
Yeah,
or is
we
it
were
someone
gonna.
else? You were.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
No, what? Oh, actually,
I was say
I
we
want to
don't have to do
go.
it now.
No, I'm not calling. Forget you calling. I'm just kidding.
We got Chris Wood still,
Shout out.
Josh Deere.
We also have. He said, David, if you want to read
Ooh.
that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, -2 to hit is nuts for so many melee armies. Death Guard right now feels too old. Oh, too old. Custodians were a really hard matchup, and they have more stuff than Custodians did.
Damn. Yeah, I can understand that. When you're facing them, it does feel daunting because they have all the tools to beat you.
Right.
They really have all the actual tools to beat you. Um, so yeah, I understand that. It just comes down to generalship, the mission, and sometimes a little bit of the dice going your way, so you actually survive. Shout out to WAAAGH right here, baby boy, for making the actual channel logo into a model, a 3D printed model. Or no, I think he kit bashed this model together. So he kit bashed this model together, then he painted it up. So shout out to WAAAGH. That's why he put it back up here.
That's awesome.
I love it. So I just put it there for a second, give him some love. He says slap shot, David.
How are we all feeling about Gaz as of late? I feel like he is dropping off a bit.
Maybe we should make that into a
Yeah.
poll. So before I answer, because my opinion is trivial, it is only me, and who am I but a mere mortal under Gork and Mork. I would like to see what people actually got to say about this. How do you guys feel about Gazgul now, as of late? With that being said, we got the fighting Fedora. Oh shoot, he's trying to die. He's trying to get crumped.
Oh,
David.
The missus thought about crumping me for super chats, but I promised her I wouldn't do it again.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you getting crump. You about to get stuck in, lad, and not the good way. You know, for real, you're about to get crump. So I'm gonna leave that up. Very generous of you. Thank you, Fighting Fedora. I didn't know if you've seen Fighting Fedora. We put a Dread Mob list up though that had Max Killikans and the Stompa. So that sounds like a Snaggy Tooth, just little tooth list right there. Put your Snaggy up in there, Stompa, all Killikans. Why wouldn't that be Snaggy, dude? I love that. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. Very generous of you, David. You put it up?
Yeah, I put it up.
All right, guys. So we put a poll up. Make sure you participate, because I'll give my opinion after we have that poll up for a little bit on how you feel about gas. So thank you, Fighting Fedora. We'll leave that up because this might be your final word. So I'm leaving it up for a little bit. You might be gone after this.
Let's put it on his gravestone.
Put it on his gravestone. Christian said, just bring back Captain Bad Ruts and kills to kill things at range. Oh, wait. Hey, shots fired. You can bring 5-man units of flash kits and still get some work out of them. All right, guys. Don't get completely dismayed, but it's nothing like it used to be with Captain Bad Rook. But why do we need Captain Bad Rook if we got the Luas?
That's right.
All right, no, it's not the same still, but it's still pretty good and it's cheaper. All right, so you can bring several of them, let's say. And it has a weird kind of peaking potential too with all the actual AP. So yeah, just we got Ludas we could play, and Dreadmob's doing work. And WAP said, why is the logo kit bashed in the hobby picks again? Because I wanted it there. How dare you?
Awesome,
yeah, when you were asking an obvious question. And then he says Captain Badrock catching strays and ricochets. Yeah, Joe had Captain Badrock. He got it at Adepticon. And then we have this picture center, this old school Blood Axe little detachment. It has older orc models, really awesome banner, old school looking battle wagon and truck. I really appreciated this one when he sent it to me. I was like, yeah, I like this. This has some flavor and taste. He said, I love big gas. It's the Codex. It's the index. Or did you mean, or did you? Oh, or just since the Codex came out? Like I could understand that since his data sheet changed to be even more impressive. I liked it in the index, but it was under certain metas that it shined out more, where you needed more thickness or stuff to kill thickness. Gas has almost been an auto include in most attachments. He's an auto consider in most attachments, right? I'd say you'll end up saying, well, I don't have to bring them in Bully Boys, for example, but I could argue to bring them in Bully Boys, for example, right? Like that's how I feel about Gas. That's why in the tier list video I did, he was at the top of pretty much A tier because he could always be considered, but you could always have success without him too, right? I could run a Green Tide with gas, but I could also run him without gas and just run Mega Knobs with a War Boss and Mega Armor. So yeah, that still doesn't give it where I think he places right now, but I still think that he was awesome. And then Fighting Fedora's trying to die again. He says, I'm going Green Tide Revolution, still no boys allowed. Okay, well then that's a Dread Mob too, dude. And I actually have 120 grats. I'll show you in Discord if you don't believe me, because I'm one of those gets too, and I'll leave that because these might actually be your final passwords.
Yeah, I think you preferred those to be his final words.
Yeah, right. He said final words are Grat Revolution. That's fantastic. I love it. Thanks a lot. Very Fighting Fedora, very generous of you. And I'm glad you're running the Green Tide style of grots because they deserve the love as my grots were nice and dusty, 120 of them. Then we have the sick looking war boss. If you guys take a look at the screen of that squig, that squig's face is malicious and disgusting in like the best way possible. So I don't know if you see that, David.
Yeah, that's sick. I like that.
That's actually really sick. And that's an old Assault on Black Reach war boss with the old power claws. So he really took time to make this stand out more for like the simple pose that it's in. Because in reality, what stands like this? Like imagine me just standing next to David, like, yeah, just out here. Yeah, right. So he made it seem like the orc had just annihilated something, and the squig was looking extra feisty and creepy with that zesty look. So he says that, yeah, that's a good dude. That's a really good comparison. He said the squig reminds me of Chester Cat from Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, dude, that was a good call out. Dang, excellent, dude. That was the great call out.
It was the purple too, right? And the teeth. It's just the purple in the teeth.
Yes, dude, he did great. And then we have a $20 super chat from Murder Moof Blood Axe Captain. Whoa, for the $20 super chat. So, David.
Yeah, this comes from my green heart. Hope I wasn't late to submit content. I'll unveil my parade magnobs after stream tonight.
Whoa. Yeah, actually, no. So I think some of your pictures didn't make it in. So thank you for that. And anybody else who sent it in for the stream, because I appreciate that when you guys send them to me so I can have them all nice and neat put in. And I think it's good that people get love, they get motivation, they see stuff they haven't seen. And, it's not all about just the meta and stuff like that. It's about just putting the armies together, playing them, because the models will last a lot once they're painted and they're up and ready to go. I'm not gonna say forever because Captain Badrock before someone jumps on my head and I catch a bullet again. But they last for a very long time, and a part of the process of the hobby is getting them done. Shout out to Wiki Joe for not doing that, and getting them done and making it to the 2K army and getting it fully painted up. Because once you start getting immersive in this, it really stands out like in a different way to appreciate the hobby as a whole, right? Someone shared a video in Discord earlier that was about like how war games used to be about the narrative focus and how now people just worry about the meta so hard. But in reality, we do want the narrative, immersive moments when we play these games. Those are the ones you actually remember, right? The times I have gone undefeated at events and felt super good about myself and everything. I actually remembered the games that were most memorable was like the fun ones with moments in them, not necessarily my biggest devastating wins. I actually don't even sometimes remember those unless the guy said something to make me remember them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, dude, it's about the hobby and everything, and you did get the pictures in. So shout out to you and this awesome war boss. Speaking of awesome war boss, this beast boss with this snag is looking clean. Oh, we got one for David.
Oh. Says, I'll send David WAAAGH Tactics Keep Ash for his orcs.
That's hilarious for his orcs. David, you see that? For your orcs.
I do own a grot.
He owns a single that he captured from me, dude, in 8th edition. I still haven't got it back. He captured one grot from me. I was like, all right, dude, you're wolf.
We were at our local store and you were picking up some grots. And I was like, hey, dude, you should take this one too because they're really easy to lose. You're like, no, I don't need that. I have enough. And I'm like, all right, I'll take it.
And then one day I did need it. I remember one day I did need it. I was like, hey, I think I need that grot back, dude. I'm trying to get to 120. I do have 120 now, though.
Oh, and it was the old school grots, too.
Yeah, the 2nd edition or 3rd edition ones. It's funny because I do have a whole, like, unit of 20 of those guys, those ugly models. I love them, dude. I love them. I don't care. So, yeah, shout out to Watt for that, for David. 6 months WAAAGH Tactic shout out.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Slapshot says, I still been using gas. I like that he hits like a truck. Him and some Mega Knobs with power claws chew through the land fortresses of my leagues of Voltan, buddy. Yeah, dude, he chews through a lot of different things. One of Ork's problems is that we lack against high toughness units and stuff that takes 2 of which armor saves and has armor of contempt. Whether you're using gases 4 damage flat or if you're using his volume of attacks, because on the wall, getting up to strength 9, 13 attacks with +1 to wound and +1 to hit. Then you have whatever mans you have less because a lot of times Gazanian will take damage before he can get the first punch in. But whatever Magnabs you have along with him, that becomes a significant damage two that somewhat reliably goes in with your critical 5 pluses that are pretty much lethal, or you're playing Warhorde and then they're sustained too. So even if you're wounding something that hypothetically you'd be wounding them on 4s now with your sweep attack. Well, in some cases, if he has a 4-up invuln, or you don't think you're going to take it, he has a 3-up armor save and all these different defensives, you might just say volume will be the answer here instead of, oops, I put my 4 damage attacks, I rolled 2 1s to hit, I rolled a 1 to wound, and then he made 3 of his invulns. Oops. Like that happens. Sometimes volume is the answer. So gas becomes a nasty sweeping unit when you can get the lethals involved in there and the +1 to wound. I like putting power claws in the dudes he's with for sure. Even though I'm a big fan of kill saws too. Right. So shout out to Watt for that. And this is a great beast boss with his boys. Shout out to Jeff for this one. They look beautiful. He's getting his Snaga army ready. He's gonna run the hunt right now. He's running his leagues. He's been doing it for a long time. He's like a top 10 in the nation with leagues, but he's like the orc, the wall is calling me. So he's been putting these orcs up and he's gonna have the hunt ready to go. So shout out to him for sending that. I appreciate that. But of course, we have to have some wicked, wicked Storm Boys, David, right? I mean, come on, man. Everybody want to talk about Storm Boys and where they're at.
Yeah, Storm Boys are, I feel, not included in any list. At least one unit.
At least one unit? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to bring them, in my opinion. Yeah, one. I mean, because I would bring 2 minimum, but some people are saying you got to go to 3, which I could understand that because sometimes late game you're just out of resources and you're like, man, I need the Storm Boys to run up in there. So shout out to the Storm Boys for making it on stream. Very, straight, direct paint job is kind of like how mine is, right? I give them purple, just their metallics, nice bright green skin, bada boom, bada bing. I love that. Great snag is in mind. And he goes, that was my first war job, and it's an old war boss, and it's an old paint job. Well, it was a beautiful war boss, and I love that squig. The squig was beautiful, but I know you painted this too. And this was your version of boss Zagstruck, even though Zagstruck is gone now, right? I believe this is your Zagstruck. Here, this is an awesome model. You could run him and just say he's like a Tuska Demon Slayer too, but in general, he looks fantastic. You always come up with some weird, unique designs for your models that you just pull them out and you're like, this is what I'm gonna do with this guy, and he's gonna have this theme, and it's always very immersive and always catches me off guard. So
yeah, this guy looks crazy.
Yeah, he looks a lot of stuff Jay Hugh can make looks crazy, but then it looks awesome. Like that's what's up, dude.
Yeah, the way he made the wings and the gold all mesh well with the rest of the paint scheme. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. He says, fighting for Doris says, my son plays gas. He hates that I throw mobs of grots at him. Yeah, dude, I would hate that too. What the That's hilarious. You're just like, I got grots for you, dude. Burn the boys, burn them away, get them out of there. Yeah, that's fantastic. He has a right to be a man. Where's that dude that brought the 20 shooter boys? Bring those guys back, dude. Right. Put them in Dread Mob with the mech. Let's go. They're just rolling tons of firepower down. Because I mean, you could run gas with the Dread Mob, I guess. Just bring a bunch of firepower so you can shoot your grots away. Dread Mob on Dread Mob. Dread Mob on Dread Mob. He says, Zero hero with speed mob. Think I still need them? You need what? Speed mob? You need to elaborate on that, Admiral.
Yeah, is he saying he's running the list or that he has models that he doesn't know what to do with?
Yeah, what do you mean by that? Because something people don't know what to do with is the kill rig. And the kill rig is a fantastic unit. In the fact that it plays all the phases of the game, it's not fantastic as in like it's the most meta right now. There's times you can make it work, preferably actually on mobs of normal boys, in my opinion. Given the +1 strength and then possibility of lethal. Get your little Kazlan peeks out, last cannon peeks out. But, kill rig's in a certain spot right now where he can go either way. It's a real meta dependent. Oh, he says zero here with speed mob. Think I still need that for Storm Boys? I would have to look at the rest of your list, but I would say, yeah, at least one, just because they're infantry that can run through terrain. And they have a smaller profile than something like a Def Copter.
Deep strike.
You still need Snick Route, but sometimes Snick Routes for indirect factors too and such. So I would say at least one if you could fit them. I mean, I think you can, but and yeah, you can definitely play 18 Def Copters with your speed wall, bro, for sure. They have the proper strats to get all the buffs and everything. It's about the practicality of getting them into place without taking damage. Of course, you can come in from deep strike and try to be safe, but there's still other factors involved in that. Like, will you take a nasty Overwatch from that factor when you come in? Is it a safe spot on the table because you're such a big profile with all those big bases? And the fact that you do have to actually close the distance and get within 9 to get the most out of those stratagems. If you're not getting within 9, then I'm like, ooh, I don't know if those stratagems come off to play anymore. Just because you're already hitting on a bad profile, no? So shout out to the kill rig for being beautiful, though. I like the green on the green, and the Squig's box art color is beautiful. Is also the jet, because no one ever plays with the jets no more, boy. Now, WAAAGH has 18 def copters, though. But here's this Docket Jet, or I think this is the Docket Jets on the table. I even though some people are like, yo, this is a straight up kind of scheme that I understand for it being kind of rustic and dirty. You can figure out how to do this if you're a new painter, and it feels really good when you start getting these kind of style done. I did my killer cans similar like this in a metallic color, where you're doing a lot of dry brushing involved and everything like that. Not that I'm like a big great painter or anything, but it ends up looking really cool, and it's fixed the orky theme. So I really like that playing how it came out and everything. So really beautiful on that one for sure. Uh Speaking of beautiful, this color,
It's very colorful.
very colorful. Let you guys take a look at that super colorful thing as well. He said, "Oh, I get my last 6 in painted before Bronstein Brawl. I'm taking 18 Def Counters and 18 War Bikes. That's what's up, you get, because I don't have 18 Def Counters. It's funny how 18 Def Counters was a straight up meme on the channel before the book came out. Like, we were joking about, gotta bring your 18 Def Copters, guys, and everybody was making jokes. And then WAPA was like, what you shown on the stream before was like, I got 18 Def Copters. Check them out. He's slowly been painting them up. And so people remember, Admiral, you were here when we were talking about that with your freaky bird picture. And yeah, it was like, now we got the
Do we have a GW rules writer in here?
dude, right? Oh, yeah, you're right, dude.
Just
I'm
lurking
feeling like we
around?
got a leaker on here, dude. We got a leaker telling people like the community has spoken. They want 18 Def Copters to work. And they're like, this shall be done from Gork and Mork. And speaking of Gork and Mork, he says, I always got to bring the prophet of Gork and Mork. Who you bringing? You yourself? You're the prophet? That's what I'm. Oh, Gas. He meant Gas. Okay, check the poll. Check the poll. Sorry, dude. I was tripping right there. Yeah, that's how I feel too. I always want to bring Gas like all the time. Like I want to always bring him. Not that I always do, but he's always a consideration. How many votes we got in right now?
Right now, we got 26 votes.
Okay.
62% say yes.
Oh, so he's still in favor, but it's not a big, huge margin. That's a respectable margin.
Yeah.
And considering it's a Supreme Commander, guys, think about that. How many armies wish they could run their Supreme Commander 62% in favor of the time? Right? Go to the Dark Angels and be like, you want to run Lionel Johnson? They're not going to get 62, dude. That's going to be like a 20%, 10%. They're putting Lionel Johnson on there. So I understand that he's not where some people want him to be. And a lot of people are like, I think he's too expensive because I like to pay for more trash. I think he's in a great spot where he was probably not going to catch a nerf. The Mega Knobs around him are going to catch a nerf. And then he can play in multiple detachments. He's all in consideration, but he's not a master auto take. That means he's a good bar to entry for newer players where they can bring him, get immediate value, enjoy having a Lord of War, filling up a lot of points for money value cost purpose trade, right? Because we're already expensive army. But if you're an elite player with a deep horde collection or multi-model collection, you can just opt out to not bringing gas. Right. So I think a Supreme Commander that's built in that manner is actually in great favor for us. I don't want him to be any better or any worse than he's at. I think he's right where we need him to be. So if he gets any better, he'd be hitting with the Nerf hammer. But the Mega Knobs are going to get hit so a little bit. So I guess he's kind of taking a little hit, right? And he said, but I wouldn't take gas, but I'd take Makari. Of course, Fedora, you would take Makari, dude. You grot love and get. But it's with you saying that, there's actually a bit of truth there, right? We like to joke that Gaz is the most expensive bodyguard in the game, right? You're like paying 80 points for Makari and the rest of the points for Gaz, because it's really like you want Makari for his lethal aura just as much as you want Gaz. That has changed now. Like Gaz can go hard with critical 5+s just built into his data sheet, but that was a joke for a long time. So even though you say that because you're a growl lover, it's actually a good actual true factor. Like Gas is sometimes seen as the most expensive bodyguard. Just like with these pictures up on stream, we have some Mega Knob, Big Macs, and these are different models. That's like a different version of a Captain Badrock, but I really appreciate the color scheme on there. Like it takes a lot to boldness and like attention to detail with your eyes to put all these bright colors on top of each other, but still have distinctions in armor and in profiles and how it actually looks. Yeah. Because I could never pull that off, dude. I would want to, because I think having colorful models on the table is actually a beautiful thing, personally. When you like It's one thing to look at one individual model and be like, he's colorful, okay, like this is how good he looks. Think about a whole table of this scheme. You're just completely immersed in your opponent's scheme color, and everywhere there's a model there, you're like, oh, it feels like he's taking up more space than he really is because they stick out so much. So I think that's pretty sick. Oh, and then we have some ground loving gets here. What I wanted to point out with this picture from Murder is this is someone that is putting their models in a cookie tray sheet like how I normally do here in my stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how many of you guys do this, but this was another shot. Should we just put this on a survey, a questionnaire too? I want to know how many people transport their stuff in either a proper case, it'd either be easy proper case, or make it a cookie sheet / old toolbox, right? Because people be doing that where they just put it in like an old toolbox top. A shoebox counts as a toolbox, everything like that. I want to know how many of you guys actually in the place run their stuff on cookie sheets / old toolboxes / just a straight up box compared to a proper GW kit, storage container, whatever it is, foam, stuff like that, right? So let me know what you guys got to say about that because I can relate to this. And this is nothing to make fun of. I magnetize my gits and then I put them on this. And I just love doing that too. So I want to know how the orc community really feels, right? Because we know there's a lot of fancy gits. Also, because I feel like this is my army on display a little bit right now itself because I run purple orcs with bright green skin like this too. So this one called out to my heart. He said a lot of stuff here that was still work in progress. There's some mega nods back there. But shout out to Do the Grot Boys from Murder. So that's what's up. Murder was here earlier with, so I appreciate you, buddy. Then we also got some mega knobs on screen. Oh, look at a bunch of people are responding. Cookie wall. Cookie wall. I use a 30-liter, really useful box. Snap slides. Yeah, see, people have different things. I have a full case. I throw them in my pocket. Just shut up. Random boxes. Dude, I remember when I first had only green tide and old gas, I just did show up to tables with boxes and I'd be like, and people would just look at me like appalled, dude, because I didn't understand hobbying and creativity back then. I just understood war of attrition, Russia style. And I just brought a bunch of orcs, and people just thought it was freaking hilarious, like super baffling to see me throw around boxes of models and just lay all my boys on the table and be like, all right, this is green squad, this is red squad. Supposed to pull out there?
Yeah, put it out there.
Are people participating?
Yes,
Oh,
we got
already?
5 votes already.
Oh shoot! All right, dude, people are getting there. Let me know the votes because I want to know what crew how if the minority or the majority do I fit more in with what I did with my models. He said, "Throw them in my pocket. I'm not dealing with that." Okay, because I bet you did.
Hey, who said
With the clip.
No.
Put them in your hoodie.
And I wish you had them in your pocket at Adepticon.
Oh, called it out. He wanted to see him at Adepticon. He said a plastic tube with an egg crate. I guess you're bringing grot, so I accept that. Murder's been grinding in the hobby. He's been a production machine. Yeah, he actually has. That was Murder's picks earlier.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of a hobby machine, this gets put in the mega nubs. I like the straight up black, red, boom, nice and clean, metallic colors, not over the top, not too little. Really like that. Mega Nobs were looking beautiful. And then we have some awesome Def Killer War Trike pictures up on here. I'm gonna leave up for a second. Really good creative. This is Cal.
He painted the Stampa, right?
Yeah, he painted the Stampa. So I'll leave this up for a second. But yeah, he had the first front shot and the back shots of how he looked on his shoulder pauldron and his leather backs and everything. So he looks sick. Clip been running up at tourneys in cargo pants, handing out boys like monkeys in a barrel. That bro just added, dude. We met the Clip, and I could actually see him doing that, dude. So are you speaking from firsthand experience too that the Clip's pulling monkey barrel boys out of his pockets? But no, I think he would bring them a little nicer than that. But I bet he would bring a couple characters like, here's my war balls.
Yeah, he's got to be walking around with cargo pants and those fisherman vest. Little
oh yeah, just pulling. Yeah, my grunges, my storm boys takes his hat off. There's Snick Rot, just puts him on the table, like, oh dude, what's going on? He said he calls it the pocket wall. What's going on here? Okay, God, how we just get to this point, dude? Look at this pretty model. We're talking about pulling models out of pockets. I'm gonna let the poll go a little longer before I get guys. I can't see the poll. David can see it. I'm not looking yet. When we get to like 40 or something like that, if we can even get to 40, I want to see what's up. He said I put them in tubs on their weapons and their sluggers and the knobs and the smaller bins. Oh, that's a lot of stuff into there. Oh, Kirk. I think we know who Kevin Kirk is, right? Got an interesting list I'm about to run next month. My mission is just to destroy the enemy. So you're going all killy, and what are you going to do with that? Bully Boys or Warhorde for all killy? Huh? Or is it we did do a Dread Mob with Max Ludus again?
Double stomp.
Tell us what you meant. Oh, double Stompa. Yeah, right. Dude, we did a Stompa list earlier in the stream where we showed that he ran Stompa with Max Killicans with 4-1 at the GT level. So Buddy was not playing, and we did just cover that, and he had actual good matchups. Onslaught 40K Wargaming, David.
Says, love the show, love the work, keep it going. I watch each one.
Whoa, that's what I'm
Thank
talking
you.
about, boy. Yeah, I appreciate watching other channels sometimes too when I'm at work or something or doing something tedious. So I'm glad we can feel your ear and your wall energy love. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes on the internet, you just want to appreciate orcs for what they are, not really worry about the meta, not really worry about what everybody's chasing or upset about or getting nerfed. Sometimes it's just about looking at the awesome, cool projects people are putting on and list that did good and looking at how they were different, even if they weren't undefeated and the best ever. And the guy placed 20th out of whatever. So what? It was how he played, how he wanted, and he had a great time. Unlike other people who will tell you online, you run that Stompa, you will lose every game and it'll be a waste of your time. But yeah, people bought a box set for it. And I'm like, dude, don't tell people that.
Yeah, right.
The whole hobby is just play with what you want to play, dude. It can work. Just don't run into like a shadow storm. Like obviously that'll annihilate you. So shout out to you on Slot Gaming 40K. I appreciate the love. And I appreciate Cal's models up in here, boy. These beautiful are well. Look at that Death Killer word track. I love that. And it was some of it, you could tell he didn't do a ton of work like on the body. He did all the edges and everything, but he didn't go overboard, so it doesn't look saturated on a model. But then you look at his back and you're like, there we go. On the weapons, on the shoulder, on the grot in the back with his gas turbo canister. So I love this Death Killer war trike. He said, oh, David, right here.
Says, I bought a Storm thingy case for $55. Damn thing only can hold one MSU unit.
What the heck?
Disappointed. I instead bought a Jericho case for 120, holds 5 cookie pans with insert slots, assembles like Legos.
What is
Easy.
that? Jericho case?
I don't know, but it sounds very similar to the one I have, where it's just like MDF and you just assemble it.
A Jericho case? Oh, look, dude, actually, we're about to get some court cases run up on stream, dude. That was an accident. Jericho storage miniatures. Oh, you're right. It kind of looks like it, right? But it's a fancy version. This one looks like yours.
Yeah, that one.
The wooden version. These are cool. I'm thinking I should get one of these. I'm just a cheapy boy right here. And I'm like, I have all these other old versions, but I think my collection is where it's at that I need these really bad. Especially when I try to run Green Tide at tournaments. Oh, yeah. Right? Oh, boys. Last time I just had boxes set up and just boys coming down. I was struggling. Thanks for showing me that. I'm going to take a look at that. Yay. We influenced Morty and Glory into building a Green Tide. He is Horty and Glory. Whoa! I like to think that, even though I know for sure that I didn't know that Morty and Glory has been working as a Green Tide since last edition, but he is Horty and Glory because he's running the Tyranid Swarm first. He did run that first, but it's an inferior version to the Orc Green Tide for several reasons. 1, we can actually kill stuff. 2, we yell wah. 3, we don't just move block and get in the way. We actually crump and get in the way. 3, we would beat them in a fight. And 4, green is best. And I could have said 3 twice. So yeah, shout out to that. And awesome to Morty and Glory. It was nice meeting him. He's a lovely chap. And this is a lovely war boss you put on screen. So I'll move your chat out of the way. This is your war boss too. As you can see, it was a similar scheme, but this is the updated version, right? So yeah, is this still going? Wait, is the poll ready for me, David? Should I get in there now?
23 votes.
23 votes? Yeah.
Oh,
guys, I'm gonna wait a little longer. I think you could do a little more than 23 votes. Some of you guys don't want to respond. Yeah, so the people that don't want to respond are like, oh, my models never leave my house. Like, I just leave them in a nice glass case. And I wish I had a glass case, so I'm not even heating. Battle Foam Magna Box Rex. Okay, that seems like a Pokemon game that you just nailed out there, dude. What? Like, that was a long name that you just read out. Amazing Death Killer War Trek. Yeah. Orc player play Orks. You play Grot. Yes, playing WAAAGH is the number 1 reason to yell Orks. And I want to know, that could be a question just for you guys to think about. Do you guys yell WAAAGH when you do your WAAAGH for real? Or do you guys just stay quiet? Because I watch sometimes battle reports, there's 2 men on other channels, and people don't yell WAAAGH. And I'm like, what's happening, right? And then there's the cats that yell WAAAGH, 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 right? And You know, it's fine if you're that git because I know it's a little older way to do it, so it's okay. I forgive you. But you know, do you guys ever notice that? Is that one of your things? Are you part of that crew? Because I'm not hating, but it's like you guys are a different clan culture, right? It's more like your snake bites because you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, go, go. I'm like, hey guys, what's going on back there? Like,
It sounds like you swallowed a squig.
yeah, so you're still chewing on them and yelling, wow. Awesome war boss here, by the way. Little pose also on his front shot, so you can see finishing that off. He says, Death Killer War Trike is my top 5 GW orc sculpts for sure. What would you guys say your top sculpts are? Oh, dang. Of all of GW models or just orcs? For orcs, probably just orcs, right? For just orcs, if it just based off how they look, I have to think about that a little more. I'll think about it a little bit more, but I will.
I love the buggies. Those are awesome aesthetically.
The buggies, that's why I'm saying, like, I want to say a buggy, but I don't know which one goes first. The Megatrack Scrapjet has always been possibly one of my favorites because the guy seems like he's cosplaying in a jet, but he's really not in a jet. I love the new Gaz, honestly, I did, just because I had the old Gaz model. So when he became actually intimidating and scary with his big claw and he's fully armored up, I ended up loving him. The Stampa's wearing a skirt, so he can't be my number one.
It's a mid-dress.
And the Beastnagger models I'm not in love with, to be honest. Like the Beastnagger boys, I'm always in a weird place where I'm like, are you guys just Ard boys or Scar boys? And why are you Beastnagger boys? So they're not necessarily where I would put them first. Squigs, they look too much like pigs. Moss is pretty sick. Yeah, those are just a couple. I'd say the buggies are kind of all in contention to be really awesome loved, and I have like all the buggies too, all fully painted and based and done. I have a full speed wall of bikers done too, so I guess I have a favoritism a little bit towards that.
Which was the one where they're actually shooting squigs? Is that the indirect one?
Yeah, the Rocket Truck Squig buggy. Like yeah. So I would say it has to be like Megatrack Scrapjet, Gazghoul model, are probably in the top contention. I really like Killicans, to be honest, because they're little walkers. Yeah, I really do like Killicans a lot for how they're just little walkers. They're just hard to maneuver around the battlefield. And then a Gargantuan Squiggoth, but it's, Forge World, so I don't know if I wanted to say that. Oh, someone said Gargantuan Squiggoth too. Yeah, it's Gargantuan Squiggoth, fantastic. And we're speaking of the buggies, we have the Shock Junk Dragster. What's up, dude? Are you looking at it? Yeah. But was there another one of these we wanted to go?
Yeah, we still have Lucas Troller. I don't think we did the. Did we do Colin? The Dallas?
I think so. What was it?
Green Tide.
And what were the other ones?
No, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't do that one. We just did Bryant, Chris Woods, and no, wait, yeah, Chris Woods and John Deere.
Okay, let's see. We're looking at some of the list real quick.
So we could either do the Dallas or the Storm. Oh no, the Great Game in Mongolia.
Okay, we'll do the Dallas. How much longer are you thinking here we should go? You feeling up for it, chat?
For sure, this list.
Okay, we'll keep going.
See how chat's pretty active.
Okay, so we have Colin Cade's Bully Boys list. This did go 7-1, so he didn't win the event. He did lose, but we'll talk about what he lost to. Speaking of the Swarm.
Yeah. A little sneak peek there.
So we have
Boss Snake Rot, Mozrog Scragbad, Pain Boy, War Boss, 2 War Boss and Mega Armor, 10-man boys, 3 trucks, 2 units of Gretchen, 3 units of 5 Mega Nabs with kill saws.
All of them with twin kill saws.
And then a brick of Squighog boys.
Kicking it back to index style.
And then 3 Storm boys.
Triple Storm boys. So there's like no fat on this list, and he felt the need to bring all the Storm boys for all the scoring potential. So he has Bully Boys with Mozrog Scragbag. How do you guys feel about that coming into this list already, right? Kicking it back to the Mozrog Scragbag era.
Does he have the War Boss keyword?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Right.
So let's see. He went to Adeptus Custodes. So we had Blade Champion, Shield Captain Trajan Valores, 3 units of he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of custodian guard. Six units of custodian guardians. They're max, and then 1 4-man unit and 1 unit of wardens. So you brought all kind of base infantry, similar to how we've seen that green tide list went into. A bully boys list feels better going into this, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got all the damage too. You can actually go to toe and tank their damage. Mazrog fighting in death. Squig Hog boys put up the volume, and anything that's not a warden to just punch them out too. So I actually really like this matchup for a bully boys orc list. Now, just straight up running over a custodes list. Then his second game was also custodes. Oh wait, I think I clicked. I clicked the second game. Sorry, his second game, which he also did win, was the custode. What was the first one?
First one was actually a lot tougher, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, because triple blade champion.
3 units are advancing.
Phage and Velotis, Guardians.
And well, I guess it didn't really matter in this matchup.
Grab things can, hurt bully boys. 3 units of Warden, Cladius Assassin. Yeah, I would say this is a better version of the other list. The thing is that these guys, Grav Captain tanks, actually do have really reliable damage.
Oh, for sure.
Like multi-purpose damage. They can really shoot away the Squig Hog boys pretty reliably with their field no pains, since there's not other really great targets for them on the field.
So this is a weird unit to shoot at if they're benefiting from the wall with the 5-up, 6-up.
Mm-hmm.
So could mess up. It's a
5-up, 5-up, but yeah, 5-up. But yeah, I'm just saying they have multi damage. So of course you could take 5-up invulns and make them, but they can actually chip down your units. That's why I said it's harder than the other matchup.
Yeah, no, for sure it is.
Even though the custodian guardians, they can like re-roll wounds and get double shooting on their spears, so it does have like odd chipping potential into squigs and other units. But for the most part, this list with just wardens and more blade champions, like you said, it's more of an interesting kind of toe-to-toe matchup. Then he went into Blood Angels. Oh, Sons of Sanguinius again, David. Your favorite. So what do you say?
So this one, we got Lamarty's. He's gonna give his unit -1 damage and lethals.
Okay.
And then all the Sanguinary priests gives their units 5-up funeral pains and an additional AP.
Yeah, it's funny, and they have jetpacks, so it's pretty awesome.
So there's a lot of jump packs.
And they have the additional AP, dude, which does matter here.
Yeah. This list is, 3. Is it 2 or 3? Assault intercessors of jump packs. 3. Then Death Company.
They are small units, though.
Yeah, but keep going.
Okay.
You got the Death Company, 10-man with jump packs, 2 Lancers, Infiltrators, and then how many units? 3 units of Vanguard veterans with jump packs.
Dang. Oh boy, this is going in, dude. Talk about fight on death, because these guys are just straight up getting in your face to start, dude. Right off the bat. I mean, goodness. And he has a pain boy in this with the 20-man. You have the 20-man unit of boys. I feel like they're getting kind of chewed up in this matchup.
Oh, yeah.
The Meganobs really have to come. It's just each Meganob punch is just straight up immediately trading. That's the one thing. And then the Squig unit's fighting in death. So even though you could get the initiative on the Squig unit, they could just beat the crap out of you too. Not easy. I don't think it's an easy matchup for the orc player by any means. Like they could.
This is green tide.
This is what we were looking at right here.
Right. Did I find out that?
Yeah. Oh. What do you mean? This is not green tide. This is bully boys.
My bad,
yeah.
my bad.
No.
Green tide.
Yeah, no. This is they have bully boys. They do have to roll for it. So like on the non-wall turn, it's a 5. On the wall turn, it's a 3. So it's not as reliable as Warhorde. But Mazrog's new data sheet ability is Heal Ascend and Fight on Death as well. I'm pretty sure. And he still does his old stuff of fighting. He's just not on 5+ anymore for his devs, which it used to be. So he doesn't punch as hard. It's one of those things that I could see as being a difficult one where the orc player does have to actually choose where he's going to stage and then kind of take the punch. He doesn't have the transports. Oh, he does have a couple transports. These transports have to be hidden very well and put in a place where they're not going to get wrapped. So this does take some hindsight from Colin to be intelligent with the staging in this matchup for any jump pack matchup of jump pack Marines, because really they want to just box you in that truck. And then even if they don't kill the truck, that's good for them. If anything, they don't want to kill the truck, because if they run up and kill the truck and they've wrapped it, then you can emergency disembark forward even closer to them up the field. So that could be detrimental to them, which could be something they can make as a mistake since trucks aren't really that durable compared to something like a Rhino.
Well, especially against 2 Lancers, right?
Yeah, I mean, even that's true because you can, even if you don't kill them, right? You chip one because only one Lancer, let's say, gets on it, then you're really reliably punching it out on accident. So, yeah, but as a whole, you do have to think smart. As all of this stuff can kind of get the initiative on you. So, shout out to Colin for that win.
Yeah,
That
was a
he
good
went.
win.
The guy was a really good win. I like that. Then we have the Necrons, dude.
All right, Awakened Dynasty. We got the Catan Shard Nightbringer, 2 Technomancers, the Silent King, and followed by that, Canoptic Reanimator, Scarab Swarm unit, 2 units of 6 Wraiths, Flayed ones, Locust Destroyers, Locust Heavy Destroyers,
Mhm.
3 2-man units of that, and 2 3-man Tomb Blades.
Okay. This list just works not following the meta, but it does have good tools such as the Wraiths with the Mancers and the Silent King's all right. He allows the Nightbringer to ignore modifiers and do things like that that could come into play. It's just interesting how the bully boys can really just tank a lot of this, but then also just slowly chip stuff away that it does matter and they die. I like the boy mob in this matchup a bit to help kind of push these Wraiths around on the objective so they don't get out OC'd, because without the mob of boys, then the Wraiths can actually hold the primary and hopefully just like survive long enough to kill you. The Squighog boys help a lot too in actually killing you with the Wraith units. You know what I mean? They don't get the strat capability in Bully Boys, but getting double walls and just being able to wall and just straight up run into Wraiths feels really good, and keep the Silent King a little bit of respectful at bay, just because he doesn't know if the Squigs can go off and just one shot him, right? So he doesn't have like a 2-up armor save. He's just getting one shot like that. I don't think he does have a 2-up armor save. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. I have to check that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't. He does have a lot of little stuff, but nothing that can hold a screen just kind of get charged through. Of course, Nightbringer's a thing too, so definitely there for sure. Not a terrible list by any means. This guy ended up winning 6 and losing 2, so it was a really good list. Silent King, I think, has slept on a lot for Necrons.
He does have a 2-up.
Oh, he does have a 2-up. Well, that's why you definitely enjoy the Mega Knobs, and you still have the volume from Squigs to keep them respectable. Because, like I said before, Ma still has his old ability, so he's still getting that 5 damage, 4 damage kind of thing going on. So we have, then after that, we have the Space Wolves. That's funny how he has a 2-up, dude. Silent King has a 2-up. I understand he's their Lord of War, but let me get the Gorkanaut and Morkanaut a 2-up armor save. I'm just saying, guys. I have to just say it, okay? Oh, David, I know you want to talk about this. I'm not gonna say nothing.
All right, we got Space Wolves Stormlance here.
This is round 5 matchup.
Yeah, round 5. This is a common archetype you'll see. You got Herald Deathwolf giving the mounts on the unit he's leading devastating wounds. Logan Grimnar Stormrider giving a 1-turn wall of his own, but it also allows reroll charges. 3 battle leaders on Thunderwolf for the lethal hits. And one of them has Hunter's Instinct, which is going to allow that unit to come in from reserves as if the round was counted as 1 round earlier. We got some intercessor squads for sticky objectives because this list is going to want to go forward. And if you're able to tag some objectives, oh yeah, a wolf. How many is it? 2?
That's 1.
1. Oh yeah, 1 Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf that I missed with Fury of the Storm. That's just +1 strength, +1 AP, +2 on the charge for both. 2 scouts and your 3 units of Thunderwolf cavalry.
Yeah.
2 10-man Wolfen and 1 5-man Wolfen unit.
Plus,
and then a Calidus Assassin.
What do you think about this list?
This is a good list. This is one of the common archetypes that goes around and has consistently performed well. Just comes down to mission and matchup.
I would say the bully boys can kind of bully this with having a bunch of 4-up armor save, 2-up armor saves in the 5 feel no pain. They've been proven that it takes a lot of these Thunderwolf units to one-shot one of their units.
Right. And depending on how, if Herald Deathwolf spikes, that's a unit that I'd be looking to try to get into those knobs.
Yeah, for sure. And you're also living off the 4-up, right? I mean, you can just straight up die, or you can survive because you're living off our 2-up armor save. But we're just wounding you so reliably with the twin kill cells on that. And Squighog boys do like going into Thunderwolf Cav. Right? They like to
Yeah,
charge
yeah.
into them and put a bunch of damage into them and take them to their invul. Not really care about their invul. Not too much about their toughness either. So
Yeah, for the most part, this list is at strength 5. So it's
Yep.
wounding on 5s against Knobs and the Square Cog Boys.
yeah, you're right.
It's
So
pretty rough.
yeah, it is true.
They can only, at max, get 2 units to +1 to wound. And
Not-
one of them's from the Wolf Lord on
not
Thunderwolf.
to mention that has a 20-man unit of boys in that list. So then the boys can catch one of the charges and get in the way as a fat, stupid screen or just have a ton of OC. So if you're falling back and charging, it's blocking from all of your Thunderwolves from getting back
Yeah.
into the fight. So your Mega Knobs stay alive and keep kind of punching you back a little bit too.
And that's the thing that you really want to make sure you position your boys units, if you do have them on your list well, against this list, is think about the fallback and charge. Don't allow them to just simply negate what you try to do by move blocking them, and then giving them space to move around.
Yeah, because that does swing the game a lot if you give them like potential to keep scoring and playing the game when they fall back. Instead of just being like, oops, I moved back only 1 inch. Oh, I'm back where I was. Didn't kill enough. So this is a hard game. Good matchup. Great win right there.
Yes, sir.
Tyranids for game 6.
Oh,
Unending Swarm.
We got the Nero Tyrant, Old One Eye, Gargoyles.
Oh, I think he
20
could have done multiple of these, if not just 2 10-mans. Just because they're just to get in the way.
Right.
You're giving away the whole 20 right off the rip, but whatever.
And then how many units of Termagants? We got
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
five.
Inferior to Orc Boys. Continue.
Unit Biovore, unit 2 Carnifexes, 3 Exocrines, 1 Maleceptor, and a unit
So he
Venom
tried to do
Throats.
Swarm, but it wasn't all Swarm. You know what I'm saying? He would need the Big Mama regenning them, maybe some Hormagons to run up the field and be the first wave, followed by a second wave. So he tried to bring some actual other stuff in monsters. I think a true ending Swarm really hurts Orcs, Mega Knobs, and such like that. And Squig Hog Boys plus the Orc Boys mobs help in this because they have enough OC, big enough bases, enough volume to punch out completely a Termagon unit, base the next unit that's coming out from getting enough models on the objective and having more OC than them, and then being able to punch them back and deal with them too. And having the Carnifexes is a big factor. These are melee and venom cannon. So these aren't even like the Doc Effexes. If they're the Doc Effexes, that'd be harsh with Old One Eye, but they're not. So because it's Unending Swarm. So he's using these for like tank busting up. So I get what it is. Having 1 Maleceptor, all this stuff feels good. This is not like an easy game for the Green Bully Boys to play and win. That's why I actually like this list, because he brought a flexible toolkit by just having Squigs and Boys for killing stuff that takes a different profile than Mega Knobs and their low poopy volume and inaccurate punches, right?
Exactly.
So that's where it kind of came into play. You can see the kind of missions that he was understanding. He might have known that these kind of lists were appearing with the Thunderwolf calves or Necrons that don't want with a bunch of raids. So he's like, Squig Hog Boys are good into that. Bunch of Blood Angels. Squig Hog Boys are good into that with just being shucking normal dudes. These guys not like getting all the obnoxious fight first anymore. Squig Hog Boys kill Custodes. Tyranids, Squig Hog Boys kill still a bunch of Tyranids. So there's games that they matter. There's just some matchups that they won't. So you can base that off your meta. We talked about this. So T-Suns, a big bully faction right now.
All right, we got Armin on disc, Exalted Sorcerer on disc, 3 Infernal Masters, Magnus the Red, of course, 2 Thousand Sun Sorcerers on foot.
What do? They're just sorcerers?
The Sorcerers on foot, they give lethal, and then you also cannot target that unit outside of 18 inches.
Oh, okay. More rubric marines.
A lot of MSU rubric. I think it was 1 tournament, right?
Yeah. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. No, it wasn't. Nope. All small units. Rhinos, cultists. A bunch of like weird little bodies.
Yeah.
A little odd. A lot of characters always is normal though, but just a bunch of the cultists is a little odd, right?
He did really well though. I mean, this is a 7-1 list here.
See. Dang, and he only lost to just Colin. So, dude, that list is legit that he came up with was the Squig Hog Boys. Sure. So I really like to see that. Boys and Squig Hog Boys. That's looking pretty exciting, and it's a different way than just running Mega Knobs. I do feel like as much as I love knobs, when you're putting Mega Knobs and knobs on the list, The Mega Knobs kind of stand out as being the soft target for all the small arms fire and all the damage to small arms fire kind of things, compared to just like Squig Boys that are another feel no pain target. They're another unit that has a feel no pain the entire time on top of the Mega Knobs. It's not that they're going to survive everything. It's that the enemy doesn't know how much to commit into everything like that.
Right.
And it spreads them out. And you did see he had the Pain Boy in the boys unit list too. So all of this is like, you can kill these, but what are you going to delegate to it? And if your math is off, if your dice rolls are off, I survive and I keep punching you. So that's why I had really good interest in this list. That's why we're covering these lists, even if they didn't undefeated go win and win, because 40K is a lot more nuanced than that. It's not so black and white. It's a lot of factors can cause you to just lose a game or win a game. So it's really cool.
And that's one thing I think this list struggled with, considering he took MSU units versus any 10-man units, where 1,000 Suns are really good at throttling and taking down one target.
I see what you're kidding.
But now you have MSU units, and they all have to be in line of sight or within range to do any damage. That's harder.
Yeah. So he was having a hard time killing all those awesome feel no pain spread out damage units. So sick job. I really like this list too. All these lists that we're looking at, I really like a lot. I would run any of those, not just because they did well, because they're going under the theory a lot of people are having for Orks, and then they're coming to fruition, right? Zod and Mandos, Max Killicans and Stampa, boys, mobs of boys with Squig boys. It's just a bunch of like different flavorful of what you actually want to run. And then we have the one loss he took, David.
All right, this list is called the Cockroach Euphoria.
God dang it.
All right, we got Nero Tyrant, Tervagon. You mentioned how you'd like to see that on the list. Winged Hive Tyrant, 20-man Gargoyle, 10-man Hormagaunts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 20-man Termagants, a Biovore, 3 Exocrines, a Lictor, Neurogaunt, Neurolictor, and Venom Thropes.
Damn, so he brought this weird unit of Gaunts. I like that. It's not the battle line ones. Oops.
Yes.
It's not the battle line ones, but he was like, I can bring these cheap Gaunts right here, 20 of them, for even more little bodies. I like that he brings Tervagon, because then it kind of helps with his more healing potential, which is what he needs in a big monster. We know that the Green Tide takes over Bully Boys, so it could just be that this time the Exocrines did kill more Squig boys. This time he did have just enough regens and stuff to survive. Hormagaunts can get in the way because they can advance and charge and slow stuff down. So it's just a little bit different. He did have a Winged Hive Tyrant that has more mobility. So it was a really good version of the game, and it did win the event. So the player himself was also exceptional. So that's why I still wanted to give Colin Cade his due, because he did awesome. So wall for Colin McCade. Sorry, because that was a great running with a off the brand, his own unique way to run the Bully Boys. So you want
results for that poll?
Okay, let's do the poll. Give me the poll.
All right, so we got 6% of people using foam trays.
Oh, whoa, that's way lower than I expected. Goodness. All right, keep it going.
Foam trays are the first way I started transferring my models, but over time I got away from them just because these models can still break in there, and it's kind of really annoying when you pack them perfectly and fit them. Then you go play a game, and then you're like, oh wait, how did I put this all in these?
Yeah, and you're trying to leave, and you're in a hurry, or you're changing tables or something.
24% for the cookie WAAAGHs.
Okay.
And then 40% people actually use like a full case, like an actual ball.
Okay.
Case.
Those cases are more popular now with the trays. Like I'm gonna end up getting me one of those too. So I'm gonna have to move away from the cookie sheet gang. But cookie sheet gang, we weren't the majority, but we were still a factor. We were still a player in the game. So I appreciate that. Shout out to the people part of the stream. So I think we're gonna go over the last of our Pobby pictures, and then we'll close it out. So get your last question, super chats in. Unless there was one more list we want to look, David, even if we don't go.
There is one more.
That was interesting. Well, let's take a look at this fantastic, guys. Let me take a look at some of the chats, do some housekeeping. So we have my favorite orc models are the old school Nazi Storm Boys. That's pretty cool. I think even now the current Storm Boys are fantastic with like they have the bombardier jackets and stuff like that, and the goggles, so they look cool. And the grots are in the turbines because they're confused on where they're supposed to stand. It's fantastic. I love the Black Gobble from Blood Bowl. Oh, that's a sick one. I like, I like the the new Christmas Christmas Gitmas Grot, that one where the Grot Misgit, dude, I love that model actually. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I actually like that model a lot. I like the Def Dread Squig Bomb. Oh, the Squig Bomb from the Squig Hog Boys is a good call too. Def Dreads, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I like the Killicans because I feel like they're proper proportioned. Is I can see them actually walking and moving around and doing things, and they have their little unique faces. Also, the idea of like a table of little mech walkers or army of mech walkers seems awesome.
Right.
Because they're not necessarily infantry, but they're hordish still. A lot of them, damage 3, chopping people up, but they're small enough to kind of get beat up in a fight. So it seems I just seems cool to me. And I like the idea of whenever a Grot becomes a Killican, he goes and finds the bully orc that bullied him and kills him or something. It's kind of funny. He said the old Pulsar rockets artillery was fantastic. Yeah. Oh, and then thank you for showing off my gas. Hey, and you appeared for your gas. Fantastic, dude. Yeah, you're well deserved. I love that. He looks very box artish. And like I was saying, this gas is one of my favorite models just because they upgraded him to being like proper. Now that he has a sweep attack, I've been asking for a sweep attack since like 8th edition, guys. Like straight up. I was like, I hate that you can stop me with guardsmen. But yeah, I love that gas is just straight up can just chop people. Having an awesome sweep attack of strength 8/strength 9 with +1 to wound, damage 2, -2 feels really good. Feels really good a lot of the time, especially when you're getting lethal 5+s. You're just like, oh my god, dude. It's just like you're like, whatever. If I 4 damage attack, I don't even need it right now. I'll just beat you up with pure volume, which is the way of the wall. So shout out to you for the awesome painted model and basing. You did a great job there. So it's a well-deserved love from the Facebook group too. Shout out to the Facebook kids.
Shout out Facebook.
He said they had it set up in the theater. He had to lift it. Oh, the lifted dropper was crazy. Yeah, that was a crazy model. The lifted dropper. That was a crazy model back in the day, dude.
I don't know what that looked like.
It had like a big. Should you pull it up?
If you want to share, you got it.
So, lifted dropper was awesome. I'm sorry, you're doing it. Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
There's a huge gun on top.
It has like a big ray gun on it, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a battle wagon with a huge ray gun, pretty much, guys. That's all you need to know. And it's really cool. It used to like pick you up and then do mortal wounds when it drops you and cause you to blow up and kill everything around you. Very old narratively, very literal in its name with the lift dropper. That's what it used to be, dude. It would lift vehicles and then drop them. And the clip said, should we worry about a nerf coming soon? And which units do you think are going to get a bit of a nerf? I don't think it's soon. I think GW's kind of holding the line with not being too eager to give things nerfs like the wraiths and such like that. Mega Knobs, of course, are number 1 on the chopping block. I can see war bosses, like straight up foot war bosses, going up in points too. I don't think I want them to, or they should, but I can see them going up in points too. And what's another unit? Do you have a unit that you can see, dude? No, I don't think boys will go up. No, they want boys to do that. Do you think because the Green Tide?
I think if we keep seeing when the results.
Yeah, I need to see more results. It's possible. I think the meta can really much adjust, and you see a lot of Green Tide lists like go 4-1 and lose. So I think they have answers and everything, and just the time clock. They already have the stuff against them. I don't know if they need attention. Because if you increase the Mega Knobs, that already hurts Storm Boys right there. Because all of the Green Tide lists bring a brick of Mega Knobs. Right. So you're already nerfing a Green Tide list a little bit just by increasing Mega Knobs, so they bring less scoring stuff or less boys. It could affect it a little bit. But I think if you hit the war bosses, you hit Bully Boys and Green Tide. So you can just do the green, you can do the war bosses and the Mega Knobs and the war bosses and Mega Armor. Don't even need to touch boys, and all those lists kind of get brought down. So then Dread Mob with the Stomp is number 1 list, and then that's the end of the game. Whoa! No, I'm just kidding. This is, then we have a Green Tide list. I actually seen this army in person at the last RTT I went to. He also bring Green Tide. He brought gas. He had an awesome big display board, and yes, he was carrying this around. Yes, it's back huge because you can see in the background on the table. That's the actual gaming table. And he had his just display board just straight up like that, dude. So he sat it at the back of the shop, and it was just super intimidating everybody. Everybody was like, dang, look at a Green Tide that showed up. I'm like, I'm a Green Tide too. Me too. Because he had a display board, so he had all the attention.
So is this some like giant squig mouth? Because I see teeth on top.
It could just be it could be this that they use it as like a perimeter fencing. But yeah.
Well, it's not. I don't know, because it looks like
I think he has mountains there, unless the squig ate a mountain is coming from the ground like a giant worm squig.
with a
It could
big
be.
mouth
That's a
like
good
that.
question for him. He's in our Facebook, so shout out to Chris. Yeah, let me know what you think. He sent other pictures too, I think. Oh, I went past that too, but then he said, I love building my shock jump dragster. So easy to build and paint. Soothing. Yeah, I got at least 2, if not 3 shock jump dragsters. I really liked, for some reason, guys, I'm just a big fan of the the booster blasters, even though they're not like the coolest, just because I have a fun idea with the rivet gun. If you have your one with the rivet gun, I know that you take him sometimes and you turn it, all right, and you shoot stuff. All right, I do, or at least I do it sometimes. I'm like, minus one to hit. And the rocket truck is really cool just because I like the hillbilly orc on the back with the shotgun, with the break action shotgun with the double barrel. I'm like, dude, what are you doing back there? And then he has a baby runt on his shoulder. You know, shout out, that's Wicked Joe for me. Like, hey, you are, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. And then let's see another picture here. Speaking of orc buckies, and then Alan with the yo, yeah, what's up? Whoa! But then we have more orc buggies here. These are done really well with their bases, taking advantage of the terrain, looking like they're really bouncing around, getting stuck in. Not going for the super bright colors on the chassis, but the orcs themselves have nice bright colors. So I really, really like that. Really fun about that. What was that last list, David, before we finish up?
Lucas Troller's Green Titleist. I went 5-0.
Actually, what was that list that ran? Is this the one that ran the bunch of boys? Yes, it was, right? But it was this a green tide list?
Yeah.
Was it a green tide list?
Yes.
Actually, I think I wanted to look at the other list we had that had the 60 boys and the bully boys. Which one was that?
Oh, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't. Did we do Chris Woods? Or I thought we did.
I don't think so.
No, we didn't. Maybe we were just looking early.
Chris who?
Bet.
Oh, right here.
We didn't do that one, right?
I don't think so.
No, we didn't do this one.
This is the one I liked. Yeah, this is the one I liked, right? This is what
Bully Boys with Boys.
Bully Boys with mobs of boys. Yeah. So this one was actually, oh, he sent me, I think this is the one where he sent me a couple notes.
Oh, he did.
Right?
He did.
Yeah. So let's do this one real quick for this list that we're going to go over here. We're going to finish off with the pictures soon. We have a couple pictures left. I think we have about 5. So we take this. This is a sneak peek of what's next with the Mazrog shooting flame right here.
He sent me notes on Discord or email?
He sent me notes on Discord. So, David, if you want to read some of the stuff to start.
Yeah, if you.
Nope, you have to take a look at it now. I did that on purpose, guys. Don't worry.
All right, we got the Big Mech and Mega Armor, Boss Snake Rat, I believe 3 war bosses.
I got some of his notes.
Confirm here in a second. 1, 2, 3 war bosses, War Boss and Mega Armor.
Teleport.
And Teleport. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 20-man units of boys in the Bully Boys. 2 units of Gretchen and 3 6-man units of Mega Nabs.
With twin kill saws.
Twin kill saws and 3 units of Storm Boys.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. This list is right after my heart. He even said in his notes, he said, I wasn't sure if I wanted to play Green Tide or Bully Boys, so I said I'll just do both and play Bully Boys. So he pretty much did that. He couldn't pick it, so he took 80 boys in his Bully Boy list. Notice he doesn't have any transports. He intentionally didn't bring gas because he doesn't like gas. And, he was undefeated for the 5 games. As you can see here, he won all the games that he went into. So very interesting. He was worried about Tau and such like that. So very awesome, cool list. So let's take a look at his matchups real quick. Starting with Grey Knights. David.
Yeah. So we got Castellan Crow, Kalgor Drago.
So Crow's for the Puriphiles, Drago's for early deep strike, pretty much, and charge you.
Grandmaster Nemesis Dreadnought, Brotherhood Terminator Squad, 2 Strike Squads, 1 Interceptor Squad, a Purifier Squad. And then how many Nemesis Dreadnoughts? 3. Callous Assassin and some henchmen
because he had some weird points left over. This is a very proper kind of mix that they start going, the Grey Knights are going to. I think he missed out by not running a max unit of Purifiers, because a max unit of Purifiers with Castle and Crow actually have the capability to one-shot a 20-man unit of Orc Boys with a Pain Boy. They come down 3 inches from you and annihilate you. They have the potential. Doesn't mean they always will, because they did fail to do it to me. But it is a tech piece that they go for intentionally to go into us. You do have to be smart, and you can kind of try to trick them and be like, well, I'm gonna move towards your Terminators. Hi, your Purifiers. You're gonna pick them up. You're gonna pick them up, and then they're like, no, and then you get to pick up their Terminators. And the next turn they come out, their Purifiers, you kill them instead. It does take you knowing their rules and not wasting shots and shooting at them for no reason with whatever crappy guns you have, because then they teleport again. The big boy bobs make a difference here. So you take up a lot of table space and you can auto see them, and they don't really have the volume necessarily. But don't get it twisted. These Purifiers and all these Strike Marines have 2 damage, strength like 6 punches. So they're no pushover here by any means by this Grey Knight list. It's just that they don't want to see Orc boys or Bully boys. And this is a funny thing because they have it both on this list. Right, because they don't have the volume for the boys with the feel no pains necessarily, but then they don't have the reliable damage into the 4 feel no pain mega knobs for 2 turns either. Right. So it's like, oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, they hold the mid table. I can't get them off. I can't get them off. And they're probably going to play scared, because they're Grey Knights. And they're probably not going to come at you early, and they're going to try to look for an opening in your lines to try to like annihilate you and so, like, strike you and gut your army. If you don't give them an opportunity, then they meet you in the mid table and then they lose. So this was a very good list, as he did win all his other matchups. He went 4-1, but he couldn't overcome this weird Chris Woods event of his mixed green tide / bully boys list, which I really ended up liking a lot. So he did say that he used his 5-man units of bully boys for he used it like as a display piece, one of his bully boys units. Sorry, one of the 20-man unit of boys. Sorry, he used as like a throwaway unit, and having the 3 Storm boys made a big difference for him. So then he went into Imperial Knights, David.
All right, we got Knight Crusader, and he paid for the sticky objective enhancement.
Yeah.
Then we got Knight Gallant, who has the Armor Contempt enhancement, and the Knight Valiant, who has the Deep Strike and go into reserves and come back next turn.
Halvrins, Warglaves, Vindicator, Assassin. I would say that Bully Boys kind of beat this up, to be honest. All the boys, they don't have the activations. They aren't going to have the OC, and the Mega Knobs are going to run shop on this. So bad matchup for the Knights. Good win by Chris Woods, though, because I love beating up Imperial Knights. Then we have World Eaters that think they're tough.
We got Angron, Lord Avocado, Lord on Juggernaut, Master of Executions.
With the Berserker Glaive.
Oh, yeah, with the Berserker Glaive. Two units of Jackals, 1 unit of 10 Berserkers.
For that.
A Rhino for the
first
Master
boy.
of Possession. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 2 8-bounds and 2
big,
Exalted 8.
One big unit and 1 little unit. He doesn't have enough units, in my opinion, and they hate that we actually have Fight on Death 2 here.
Yeah, he brought a lot of characters.
So he brought a lot of characters here. If Angron comes back a lot, this could be a hard one. But other than that, this is very much straightforward that we can win this. And this was a good list too, because again, one of his players, his opponent, went 4-1 again. So World Eaters, we know that they have a hard time into Orcs, especially if we play properly and we screen. Like he used that 20-man unit probably to screen and take an initial hit, right? And then counterpunch the World Eaters with that. Right. As the World Eaters don't have any shooting on this list at all. So I really like that. It takes a smart Orc player to beat out World Eaters, but when you do play it right, you do have an advantage over them. And we cover that when our WAAAGH Wednesdays, when we look at the stats, that Orcs have a winning rate into World Eaters since Index for the most part. So great job by that, because it does take some knowledge, but we do have the tools to beat them. Then he went into Tau, the new Tau. Mm-hmm. David?
We got 2 Cadre Fireblades, 1 Commander and 2 Commanders Enforcer battle suits. Dark Strider, 2, 3, 4 10-man breacher units, some Devilfish, Broadside battle suits, 2 units of Crew Carnivals,
nice
Pathfinder team, and 2 Riptide battle suits, and some stealth, 2 units of stealth battle suits.
Yeah. Okay, a lot of nice little MSU, but he doesn't have the bodies and bodies of vehicles that are gonna like get stuck in the way and block out Orcs from charging. So he kind of does have to give you stuff to fight. But these breachers, David, how do you feel about them breachers?
So these breachers do present a threat to the boys units.
No, yeah? Whoa, no, not breachers, dude. I don't respect no breachers. What's up? Tell me what they do. Tell me what they do. Guys, you respect breachers? Is there any more polls out that we have to be aware of?
We just still have the other one up.
All right. For the trees. I'm still down for that. Alan said those were his guys. Those are his buggies, and the Dark Thunder. I love those buggies. Thanks, buddy. Well, thanks for being nice about it. He said his whole speed mob's kind of rusty, as it should be. I like orcs. I went through and had a bunch of orcs that were like rustic that I'd put a lot of effort into when I first started the hobby, and I still run that 20-man unit of boys exclusively on its own, and all the same kind of theme. And he's a 30, painting up 30 boys. Yeah, I'm happy, people. He's on the road to repainting 120. Like I said, and we've gone over several times on the stream, you don't need to reach that 120 threshold. People that think that just have a different style to play, but you could very much play with 110, 100, right? I mean, we've seen a bunch of successful lists that way. So you'll know based off what you have to fight and play against if you really want to. But a lot of the time, you need something that can punch to stop one of those units like a Thunderwolf Cav unit from constantly falling back and hitting you and constantly falling back and hitting you. If you're going for the Wolf full 120, you might want Mandos instead and just have stuff that can go in the way. We went over that in a list we covered for Noah. So there's different ways to play it. I'm just saying you don't have to get to the 120 before you start enjoying your Green Tide. So what's up with those breachers? Why were they scary?
So they reroll wound rolls for units on the objectives.
Oh, I'm not even worried about that. I'm just kidding. Do they got a lot of shots?
I mean, unless you're not trying to play the game.
Yeah.
They don't have a ridiculous amount of shots. It's 2 shots to guy.
Are they damaged 1?
And they're damaged 1, strength 6, -1 AP.
Okay, so they're wounding you pretty well.
Maka, turns 2, 3, and 4, you get lethal hits.
Okay. I mean, that is something to definitely be respected for sure, because they're deleting units. But like I said, they don't really have the screens in here, right? They're just all damage. So you're really trying to close the distance to start tagging them and bagging them right away, which is what he did. Right. He got in there and started punching them out right away. Not an easy thing. It's one of those urgency games where you're like, I know you're going to hit me. I know you're going to take your chunk of flesh, but I got to get in there. I got to stuck in and I got to start killing you. And that's exactly how he said he took the game. He had a sense of urgency. And then he went through Drakari. What do you think here?
It's one list to rule them all.
Yeah, we'll see.
And is this go up? This is what's his face's list, right? Oh no, it's not. It's not.
George Clooney.
Oh man, I'm forgetting his
Archon Scotty?
Yeah, it's not Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 Archons, Beastmaster. How many Beastmasters? 1. Lilith Hesperax. Cabalite Warriors, some Rex, Witches, Raider, 3, 4 Venoms, the Court of Archon, Chronos, 2 Incubi, and some Mandrakes.
A big unit of Incubi. And
2 units of Mandrakes.
Damn, more stuff.
Ravages and Scourges.
Yeah,
that's a lot of stuff.
Dude, a lot of stuff always for these freaking fatheads, dude. They always have so many things. It's one of those things, though, that they have to come play the primary eventually. And that's where orcs get to exchange out and actually take them out, because even a decimated unit of orcs that's like cut in half is like, just slaps them away and they're like, oh, I don't get to do my fancy stuff anymore. I just get beat up. The Beastmaster can run up and get in the way, but that's more like bad when you're running a bunch of cavalry. Now that you're running a bunch of infantry in this kind of list, and he ran no transports, he's like, I don't even care. You're not going to block me. I'm just going to charge you and bounce forward, right? Because then you can start swinging units and start trying to bounce forward. So love to see it. He ran over Dark Eldar. They do have a bunch of tools to kill you. He said Drakari have a lot of anti-infantry weapons that are also a challenge. So he said he will drop the non-character Meganobs units for more boys. So he's thinking of running more boys in this because his Meganob unit didn't have like a character in it, but he likes the 3 Storm boys in every list. And of course the Grotz for screening properly and getting you the CP. So great job from him for that. I really appreciate it. And he says the Grey Knights, the Teleporta is an auto necessary take every game, every way he plays with the Meganobs. And he likes his max unit for that. So shout out for that, dude. That was awesome. Shout out for Chris Woods for the wall. Bully boys with Orc boy mobs. That's awesome. So I thought this was a very interesting list we covered today as a whole. So it was also educational, as well as showing the streams, like the hobbies, the community's pictures as a whole, because community part matters a lot to us too. It's not just about chasing whatever it is. I like that we've seen Mazrogs on here. We've seen Beast Snaggle Boys on here. People are still working on what they love and not really worried about what everybody else is worried about in the meta, which is how it should be, because you never know. Some point decreases, increases, all of a sudden squigs are back, stuff like that. And it was cool that we went over some off meta kind of list that we covered, where people weren't expecting the dread. Well, it was meta detachment, right? But how the lists were actually constructed, designed, and ran were really catching people off guard. And they were right there at the top. They didn't make it to, our WAAAGH Wednesdays and all those other channels covering orc lists. But we found them. We noticed you guys like Tarzan and Chris Woods and such, where you guys took something that was still exceptional and you ran it in your own style, in your own way, added units that you specifically thought you were good at and made work. We've seen Squigs today. We've seen Dread Mob with the Stampa, which is outrageous to go 4-1. People would not have believed you if that didn't happen. And that was an official event where they had the GW championship. So before anybody goes like, oh, now it's probably a crappy event. No, it was a legit event. It was legit super major event with 120 players. And he went 4-1. So shout out to anybody who wants to keep hating on the Stampa just because you keep getting killed by your friend who texts into you.
A lot of people complain 800 points is a lot to play with the Stampa.
It is.
But on top of that,
850.
850.
Well, because you're paying for the mech tax, 845, whatever.
On top of that, he brought 3 max units of Killicans.
I know.
Almost your entire list.
I love that.
To a data sheet.
I love that, dude. Also, I love this model. But he said, Battle Foam is no joke to buy, but it has changed my attitude about so many models. Make tournaments doable for me. I need to take that into consideration because I don't have a proper kit. David, buy me a proper kit. I just want a proper kit so that I can actually take my green tides and all my orc models, because cookie trays were nice when I was a little bit more elite, but now I'm getting kind of dragged down by all the models and stuff, and it's making it harder to play. So I'll take that in mind. So thank you for the food for thought. Good idea. Magnetizing Tupperware is the answer. That's what I'm using right now, dude. I have these right here on the floor next to me. And he's getting some sleep. Have a good night, dude. Get your RTT. You'll be getting stuck in. Have a great job tomorrow. And you could always run your Stampa, buddy. So then we have this awesome Beast Boss and Squiggle Sword 3D version, printed. I think there's a 3D printed version, as the model just looks super unique like that. I love the kind of more Wolverine aesthetic with the claw. But he also has, let me see. He also has the super armored up thick look. That felt better when they were like hard toughness and feel no pains, right? But I still love it. Still think it's great. Let's see what more we have. And I think this is one of our last pictures here with the kill rig. Yeah, this is our last picture here with the purple kill rig and the orange squig, as I very much really loved. I like purple squig, so I'm a little biased here, right? I mean, purple orcs was also with the orange squig, so I love that. He's also saying, and then we have A from Nerfy. Nerfy, what's up, buddy? So, all right, guys. I think that's the end of today's hobby stream. We made it to about 2 hours for you gets. So I hope you guys get to see your pictures. I hope some of these lists actually give you food for thought. If some of you hardcore ended up making it into the stream and seeing these super unique lists, hopefully we can get some good understanding of these and actually flex some of your guys' minds, because a lot of the ideas we talk about in Discord, whether you're adding Zod or mobs of boys or squigs or commandos or gas, all of these answers, the answers to all those questions are yes. That we've seen that throughout this entire week and last week. So if you're building into any of those styles, or if you're someone that hasn't got up to the 120 boy threshold or 100, go ahead and stick 60 boys on your bully boy list. That could totally work. Stuff like that. So people are just super creative, super skilled, and don't limit yourself to what you're hearing from some guy on Reddit that hasn't even played with the detachment he's talking smack about. Don't listen to the other guy who's super biased because his Stampa got shot off by his friend's Shadow Storm right away. Like, it sucks for him, but he obviously had a totally different experience than playing something like Necrons, where they can't reliably kill that and they have to actually play the game with you. Right. So you got to get your reps in and how you play, what you want to do. Orcs are doing great as a whole. Don't get it twisted, and don't be fearful for the nerfs, because there's a lot of fun things that can happen and that can change up. And what is he gets totally Titus says, what, David?
He says, what do y'all think of a full green tide backed by Stampa and a few characters peppered in for 2,000 points? Yes, I may move trap myself, but that aside.
I think you'll gain a benefit if you have like 120 man unit of boys in your Stampa, if you really want like a horde style list, because the thing is, their Stampa has to go with Dread Mob to be useful. Yes. So you're not going to get green tide benefits, and the bully boys being able to pull double units of boys is because they can get double WAAAGHs, right? So they can put the war boss and their initial WAAAGH, so they get to use it twice, so they get the durability from that, and the feel no pain really makes the difference. If you really want to bring a bunch of bodies, you could bring a bunch of grot bodies alongside your Stampa, and then bring a 20 man unit of boys in your Stampa. If you're going to just stick to green tide style, you could put them in a wagon to get some availability. But really, you want more stuff that's tough, and you want it to go with the theme of your Stampa being tough. That way they can take all that damage, at least some of that damage, away from your Stampa, right? Let's say there's Hellblasters, but there's not anything that's a Killacan style to shoot at. Well, they're just going to just shoot at your Stampa and hope that they get fives and end up putting them away. So you could run a Green Tide by just running a ton of Grots, 1 unit of boys with the War Boss in that list, and then adding a little bit more killing potential to get some respect from melee range, right? And the Grots will help you score, keep playing the game. So it's still alongside it, still feels really good. Just remember, you're going to be really thin on points. So that's why I'm going more with Grots for that, because then you can bring like Storm Boys and stuff to keep playing the mission. Because I want you to actually have a chance to win, not just appear, and just be awesome and be like, I killed you, but oops, I didn't score any secondaries. Cheers, lad. Yeah, we're almost done here, Gets. Stompa 132 Grots is real tied. Yeah, I do have 120 Grots, though. Oh, David, right here.
What's up, you gits? I signed up for 2 small tourneys in June, running Bully
Let's
Boys
go.
and Gas.
Let's
Love the content.
okay. You love Gas with your Bully Boys. I can totally understand that. Thank you, of course, for the compliment. We love you too around here, Sledge. I personally, I'm like, Gas is a good choice if you don't have another War Boss and Mega Armor, stuff like that. And if you know that you're going into a bunch of tough stuff, remember the sweep is fantastic. Just keep that in mind. The sweep is fantastic. I know sometimes 4 damage is really appealing, but just remember a lot of stuff has 4 up invulns. So that sweeping lethal goes crazy. And then right here, Dark Thunder, yeah, exactly. You can also use Grots in a 20 Stampa to block charges, because you can do the conniving Grots to just move up and get in the way of the charge even more. It's a reactive response movement with that. So Grots work for that too. I tend to put boys, as I want the unit that comes out of the Stampa to clear the way when they charge, right? So my 20-man unit of boys comes out of the Stampa with the War Boss, charges into stuff that's in the way, because some people just move block your Stampa. So it'll get in the way just enough where there'll be some eradicators on the other side of the building or something, and then some scouts in the way. What you really want to do is take 20 boys, charge that scout unit, wrap it, then swing and touch the eradicator unit and start shooting them too and be punching them too. Hope that your War Boss or your knobs can touch them. So the boys act as a clearing unit / objective stealing / sticky objective unit. That way your Stompa can then move into the mid table. That's why I use it like that. But using Grots in it just to reactive move and get in the way and move up into an objective is very valid too. But it's a more direct single purpose use compared to the boys that I like to run around and swing them around and start touching objectives. I've gotten so much stuff assembled and primed this week. Very stoked. And I'm glad you're listening to us while you're getting that done, right? Get that hobby chat done. Guess what the stream is for. Get your stuff going. Oh, I always say don't get your pile of shame too big, because then it'll dishearten you from actually playing and doing stuff, because you'll feel obligated to hobby and not enjoy painting. You'll be like, I'm behind. So always work a little bit more back and forth on painting and building. That way you don't get burnt out on either or either. Because then you'll be like, man, I don't want to build nothing no more. Right. Like, oh, but I still got all my looters back there that I got to get done. So shout out to you, Trash Bowl, for getting that done, and all the guys who are here. Shout out to everybody that showed up. We want to start a hobby challenge here soon. I'll just say, should I say what it is, put more idea into it? I mean, I have an idea for the hobby challenge now. Sorry. All right. I'm going to officially announce the hobby challenge, because I'm taking the risk. We're going to do it. We're going to use this as the first draft and just take it from here. So if you don't know, we do a hobby stream every month. That means we give you guys essentially a month to get this challenge done. What it is that you'll have approximately 3 weeks to get we'll just say it now, a War Boss. You want to do War Boss and Mega Armor or War Boss style model? Which would you prefer? War Boss. Okay, good. We'll just do a War Boss style model. That's not War Boss keyword, because then you're going to start using Squig Hog bosses and stuff. I'm just going to say it's either a War Boss in Mega Armor, a War Boss on foot, or a Beast Boss on foot. These are the 3 models that can be there. You can use kit bashes. You can do anything like that. And right now we'll make the color palette open and everything. We could come to more restrictions on like exactly what we want the rules to be. But right now we're going to try to make it just direct. Get that hobby challenge going. I'll announce it also in the Discord and the social medias. And then we'll have a week of probably voting, because we have 3 weeks, 2 weeks for them to do it. The 3rd week they get it for the voting. And then the final one is when it gets announced, right? The 4th week of the month. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. So then 3 weeks. And then they want to say, do they want to include Wolf Tech? He's a War Boss. So yeah. Wolf Tech's a proper War Boss. Good job, Click. That's a good shout out. So yeah, we'll do Oof Typical War Boss and Mega Armor, and a Beast Boss on foot. those are the 4 styles. Of course, you can use kit bashes from GW models. All those things still count, but I have to be able to understand what it is. You can't just make a shark with and call it an orc green and then tell me like I know what it is. I don't know. And so get it in. Let me know. Of course, at me when you start getting it going. We'll come up with this. This is going to be our first time doing a hobby challenge, but I want us to get the hobby challenges going because we want to get hobbies going more in this channel, and we want to get lore somewhat involved more in the channel because it's all about the green tides, right? It's all about the orcs.
That's
the
right.
wall. And he said, can we use 3D printed models? Yeah, as long as they're not too out of the pocket that they don't even make sense. Like if you're using Captain America as your war boss, I'm sure it'll look cool, but I don't know how good it'll do in the overall polling of how it will win, right? So you can insert it and actually get it stuck in for sure. But remember, you're appealing to the all overall 40K orcs that are going to be there. So some people have different feelings about 3D printed models. I use them. What I like to say is I have the GW official version, right? Let's say like a War Boss and Mega Armor. I have a kit bashed one from Kit Age of Sigmar, and then I have one 3D printed one. Right. I like the balance of all of those aspects, and I think that's a good way to enjoy the hobby. So I'll never say no to 3D print stuff.
Yeah. I will say though, it has to at least resemble a war boss. Because if you leave it open, we'll literally get Captain America from like something like
yeah, exactly. That's why I said that someone's gonna put Captain America in with a power claw. Like, come on, dude, what is this? Right. So thank you guys for everybody getting involved. I'll be sure to announce more of that. Remember when we get to 3K, we're gonna be doing
a giveaway for the old Combat Patrol box and the new Combat Patrol box.
Yep, for that's the Patreon and the YouTube channel members. So right?
Yeah. Once we get closer, we'll officially announce it with the rules and what you have to do to actually enter.
All right, for sure. So that's everyone involved. I appreciate that. And what's this last one David said? Do you want to answer that? Sludge.
Is the pink to the Discord
link,
under
the link.
Oh, the link. Is the link to the Discord under the perks tab for channel members? The link is in every description of every video, as well as the description on our YouTube channel.
There we go. And that's one thing to keep in mind, that you can join the Discord, get stuck in. You know, we're getting more moderators, everything going, and we organized it quite well. Get involved, get stuck in. We got Crusade going, we got hobby stuff going, we got generals talking. We have games, since right now a bunch of stuff on Steam came out. People will game together. Helldiver from Warhammer, everything. Space Marines coming out. Join the Discord. There's plenty of things to do, but there's always one thing to keep in mind: is don't cross our wall, because we not get defiled. Whoa.